open the meeting and thank you for your attendance at 9:13 a.m. And do we have anyone to move on the confirmation of minutes on the 9th of August 2023? Councillor Guthrie.
I'm happy to move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 9th of August 2023 be confirmed.
I'll second that.
We have a second. I think Councillor Edwards was first, so we'll go with that. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
His hand must be bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Now you're looking that way.
Well, it was only a finger actually, so
40.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying, hey, good.
Just saying.
Page 41.
okay, page 41. 8.1, public information session on the effects of wind farming. I'd like to move that Council 1 schedule a public information session on the 15th of September, encourage community members to attend and participate in this informative session. 2, invite Mayor Lawrence Springborg of Gundawindi as a spokesman on behalf of local government on the benefits, challenges and potential effects of the wind farms. 3, invite Anna and Edward Bassett and or family member to participate in the discussion. And 4, invite a Brisbane solicitor who represents affected land owners. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Edwards,
Can I ask a question?
please go ahead.
The 15th of September, was there significance for that date? Is that when everyone's
Yeah.
available or something?
That's actually, I think, also that as far as the people involved with this, as far as the Bassetts, that I think works for them as well. So that's the main driver for that. Okay, well, we've got a few, so we'll go Councillor Hancock first.
The Brisbane solicitor, is that invitation only, or are we going to pay them to come out?
No, I don't think there would be any payment. I think that's actually been suggested by one of the local residents, that there is someone that knows about it, so.
And is there background information on this, Mr Mayor? Like, because we don't really know as council the effect, or are we going to all learn together?
Okay, so this was brought up by a local resident concerned that people don't realise what's happening until they're built and then it's too late. So this is about, and why I changed that wording slightly, is that one of the local residents' daughter is involved with this in New South Wales and has had the effects of it, and they might be able to just Skype in and just give their feedback, and basically so we can learn from that as a community. So, and I imagine the solicitor would be on this same situation, but I will check that. But like, there was not to be any payment for it. If they wish to come up, that would be what I would be expecting. Councillor Burkett.
Ladbroke was first.
Okay, Councillor Ladbroke,
I
then
just
Burkett.
wonder, I've got nothing against it, but why Lawrence Springborg?
Well, I think that was a suggestion of one of the local residents that thought it would be good because there's development in that area, and so the mayor has some.
Will they have wind farms in Gundawindi?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a project happening down there.
He's very well versed in it.
Well, that's what
that's
I did have my hand up to say exactly all that, but
Councillor Burkett.
well, I think it's a good idea because Lawrence Springborg spoke strongly about it, the Bush Councils, mainly about the effects of it. So I think it's good to have him.
Councillor Burkett, is this part of the? Is this
Well,
a
it's similar
question?
to what they just said.
No. So, well, that was a
Anyway.
question. So let's get on to the.
I'd like to move an amendment, or suggest propose an amendment, Mr Mayor.
Please go ahead.
Nothing against Anna and Edward Bassett, but maybe we should see if there's any others want to come too.
Well, I'm happy to include in
know,
there, as well as them, any others.
Yeah, like
because that's-
somehow just put it out to, there's a few other, I haven't had anyone approach me, but I'm sure there'll be a few others wanting to know about it.
And that's the idea of a public forum. Hopefully people come and give their 2 bobs worth as well, so.
I just don't know how you'd word that, but,
I think it's there.
oh, yeah, there's Kelly.
And any other landowners to participate in the discussion, is the seconder happy with that? Okay. Councillor O'Neill and then Hancock.
Just in relation to point 4, the invitation to a Brisbane solicitor, do you already know who that is? Like, it's very broad to say we're inviting a Brisbane solicitor who represents affected landowners. That there could be many. Like,
Well, one of the local residents actually suggested that, so I imagine they're bringing them along. So that's where the
suggested
reference.
solicitor.
Yeah, like they have someone
That's
that.
what I mean, say suggested solicitor or solicitor
Yeah.
suggested by a landowner.
or just to not have it at all.
Solicitor, invite a nominated
Nominated,
solicitor who represents affected land owners without the Brisbane.
No way, it's
Yeah, right. I'm happy to put nominated.
Yeah.
It's by the community member, is just so we're clear. We're not asking one to come
They're,
on.
they're saying,
Well, this is my question, Mr Mayor, but just on the basis of that, we're saying that council invites a solicitor. So maybe that's saying that we will write and invite a solicitor. So if it's a community member inviting them,
Well,
we should leave it up.
what I mean is, it's probably giving you as councillors to understand what's going to happen at the
Yeah.
meeting, really, more than anything. So I think they're organising it, but just so we,
So do we have to change, Madam CEO? Like, this would be instructing you to invite them, wouldn't it?
So do you need number 4 at all? Yes, it's certainly, so, Mr Mayor, that if that's the intention of your motion, fine. It's just, are they going to attend just with other landholders, or are we going to officially invite them?
maybe tag it in the 3. Just said,
Support not the attendance rather than invitation is because you don't want to pay them.
No.
If we
That's a
invite
good
them, we
point.
may be up for a payment.
Too.
Or just, do you need it at all? Like,
no, I think, well, it's been asked for, so I think.
that we invite them.
Yeah, or, we support the attendance. I think that's a great way
We
to
change
say
it to invite landowner Annette Edward Bassett and family and their nominated solicitor.
is
Well,
it
I
them?
just want to double check, but I love the idea of 4 because it just says support the attendance. So we're just saying it's happening, but we're not
I think
asking.
that's-
Oh, yeah, support the attendance, yeah.
So,
Sorry.
Councillor Guthrie.
I'm just trying to tease the wording out. Support the attendance of the solicitor nominated by the affected landowners, so it's
Yeah.
not,
That's right.
it's
their
the
invitation
landowners
rather
that are
than yours.
identifying the solicitor who's going to attend.
Right, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Is the second happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, now we can talk about it.
Another suggestion, Mr. Mayor.
Please go ahead.
I'm just wondering if we're going to do this, this will be fantastic for the community, and I think we can learn from other communities. I'm wondering whether we could extend an invitation to the South Burnett Council, because at the Bush Councils, I had a huge conversation with them about the effects of wind farm that's happening over in that area, and I just think some of their learnings would be really valuable to us as well. So I wonder if we could extend an invitation to the South Burnett councillors, or a representative from South Burnett Council to attend, and they might or might not be able to, or even Skype in as well. But I just think they're having some issues over there that would be really good for us to hear.
Yep, well, I'm happy with 5.
Just extend an invitation for a representative from South Burnett Council to
Yeah.
attend the session.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need
Western
all-
Downs too, probably.
Yeah, and I would be saying our next door neighbours.
Yeah.
That would be nice too. Yeah.
Party.
Sorry, that's getting longer and longer, isn't it?
Well, if you're going to do
yeah.
it, let's
Yeah.
do it and learn
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
everyone might have, each one might have a different
Perspective
perspective,
too.
or have had a different problems with them.
Just
Yeah,
on number
that's right.
4, support can't be implied that we are financially,
I support the attendance.
yeah. How?
Well, through the chair,
Endorse.
if you want to make that
Endorse.
clear,
Endorse.
support,
Endorse, there we
support,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or endorse the attendance, or support the unpaid attendance.
Endorse.
Yeah, okay.
And 5, extend invitation for a representative from South Burnett Council and Western Downs Council to attend the session. We might even maybe say representatives in case a couple want to come.
Yeah,
Okay, does the second happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, now let's get on to the debate. Okay, so this is a request from local resident that is certainly concerned about the community not understanding And, you know, understanding is knowledge and knowledge is powerful. So I think this can only be beneficial. So if this is approved today, then we can get out and get moving on it, and hopefully all the community, there's a lot of people that don't know much about it and may be affected by it, and it would be good to have an impartial forum that's really just talking about what's happened, and for the people of the Maranoa to understand that. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak?
I'll just say, yeah, it's great to see, you know, the community members come to the council with their concerns, and so I take my hat off to them to do this. Otherwise, nothing actually starts on this particular thing. Like, it's surprising to me that this hasn't been brought up before, but you know, better late than never. So it's great. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Guthrie?
Can I just note that there's been increasing approaches by various companies of late, that it's not just Roma, so I really do encourage that the word gets out with the public consultation, because there seems to be a wider footprint starting to occur.
Councillor McMahon?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'm all in agreement with this, because I don't really think many of the landholders understand the fact that if you say no, it's no. They can't come on your place. There's no government thing to let them go, that supports them going in with it, you know, so the landholder says no, it's all over here.
Okay, does anyone else? Councillor
I
Burkett?
just follow on from the same, from the Bush Council. It was very strongly talked about, and I think that a lot of people are naive, and it'd be good, it's no good reinventing the wheel. If they've got problems down there, we need to know about them, and by the sound of it, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of misinformation and stuff that people don't know, and like Deputy Mayor said, that if they have had that opportunity to say no, they do it, because it affects not only them, but it affects everyone around in that area. So I think it'd be great to have this informative session.
Okay, Councillor Hancock?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'm fully supportive of this, because I think that this is a proactive step by council to get on the front foot. This is on our doorstep, and I think we need to get on the front foot of this, and actually it would be incredible to be able to learn from our neighbouring councils to see what effects that has, both positive and negative for the community. I think this is a really proactive step, so I'm fully supportive.
Okay, and does anyone else wish to speak? And we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 8.2, housing issue in Surat and proposed solutions. Councillor Hancock.
Mr Mayor, I move that Council 1 investigate the cost and works required to prepare Lot 104 and 114 on William Street, Surat, for construction of a dwelling. 2, investigate the cost of a dwelling, house or unit to be placed on the above land when funds become available through an external funding source. 3, investigate the process of obtaining the parcel of land on the corner of Cordelia and Alexander Streets, Surat. And 4, be provided a report at an ordinary meeting within the next 2 months.
So just a question, did we move something at the last meeting?
We laid it on the table, Mr Mayor, and I've changed the resolution since then.
Right, okay. So we didn't lay it on the table for a report in 2 months, or?
No, we laid it on the table. I asked to lay it on the table because I had some more information.
Oh, right, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a seconder, Councillor O'Neill. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Oh, yeah, I've got a question too.
Please go ahead.
114, there doesn't appear to be a 114, there's 116.
Yeah, no, 116 actually has a house on it, Councillor Guthrie. Yep, and that is what this report's about. So that is actually one. There's actually 2 blocks in one there. So 114 is the block beside it, and it needs fencing off.
So has it been subdivided?
So that is what I'm asking, to investigate the costs and works required to prepare the lots to be able to put the house on it.
Maybe.
Investigate the
I
cost
don't know
of the
whether
works
that's really-
required.
Yes, the cost of doing it and the works
Maybe
required to do it.
Maybe specify, I reckon, subdivide that
because
one.
Yeah.
it's on the
It
map
doesn't
that we were
really-
sent by Matt the other day, it's only 116.
Yep, but I'm actually, So originally I saw that, but 116 actually has a house on it. It has actually got a house on it, and so if we put 116 up there, it's gonna, we may actually frighten our resident. It's actually, and I don't know whether it's subdivided officially or not on our planning maps.
It's not on our maps.
No, it's not.
114 exist. That's
Yes.
just because you're making a valid, you're
No,
making.
it
a
doesn't
valid
exist
It
at
doesn't
this
exist
point.
on the mapping that we've got
Right,
from
so
council.
that it,
Good.
so the report, then that resolution needs to be a bit clearer, if it doesn't exist at this point, is just investigate the cost and works required to prepare lot 104 and lot 114 on William Street, and you might need to put in brackets after that to be subdivided for the construction of a dwelling, 2 lots there, 1 dwelling, or dwellings,
Construction of dwellings.
dwellings, yep.
So I guess the background behind that is when the Wirral Shire Council put that block, the house on there, that is a council house.
Yeah.
It was always the intention of being able to
Subdivide it later.
put the house
Yeah.
beside it.
Yep.
So I actually don't know whether it is already designated and the fence just isn't done.
No, it's not showing up on
It's
Map
not,
says it's not.
but it's just, yeah.
And so just to, for clarity, is that there actually is nothing stopping council if they owned that block to actually have multiple dwellings on the one block.
I definitely own that block.
Yeah.
That was in the report that Director
Yeah.
Matt gave us. So I'm happy to,
You just ambassador
Can I ask a
of
question?
dwelling has to be placed on
Well,
each.
Councillor McMullen,
Right.
then
One question's already been asked, we've got to make sure council owned it, but as C.R. Weiner said, we probably don't have to subdivide it anyway, we own the lot, but, people, I suppose not too many people will read the map, but it's officially not 114 at this point in time.
so I looked that up,
Yeah.
but I was really concerned. I went to,
Yeah,
I know what
I
you're
had
saying.
116 put in there.
That's
to
right,
start
because-
with.
Subdivide 116 to, I don't know what
Lot
you said,
104.
to subdivide 116 into 2, I don't know how you'd word it,
Yeah.
to get it off,
And I guess that's why I just put
Yeah.
works required
yeah,
to.
I don't know how.
And I'm happy to lay this on the table later in the meeting if we want to catch
just-
up with our planning
I just-
department to see, because I'm surprised there's not, I know what the map says, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it's not already,
No, because I would imagine, and I'm pretty certain I'll be right, the value, the department's DNR thing will only show us one block, 116, even though it can be subdivided into 2.
but we don't actually have to subdivide.
No,
maps here. We
that'd
can
be a
just split
cost
that block.
saving if we didn't.
Look, through the chair, it depends whether lot 116 is, that's council-owned land, so
Yes,
there's
it's-
a
it's
dwelling
all-
with a tenant in there, right? Look, it's up to council as to subdivide. It's all about the intention of what you want, a longer-term intention. If your intention is to subdivide for resale, to make land available and a house available, then obviously subdivision's the way to go. It's simple to do it in the beginning rather than at the end. But if council's intention is just to supply housing, you don't actually need to subdivide the lot if council wants to retain the land long term. You do need to put up a fence, but you don't need to subdivide.
Councillor O'Neill was next.
Just going to make the point, and I'm sure our maps are the most accurate, but when you use Google Maps, this block is known as 114 William Street and 116 William Street. So if you put
So it
114,
may
it
already
takes
be
you there.
subdivided.
If you put 116, it takes you there.
Can,
Yeah.
But what
Um,
we could do, if the intention, as Edwina said, is to sell it down the track, we should be looking at subdividing 116, because on the value of general scheme, that if you have a look at a rates notice for 116, it'll show the whole block. So I don't know, I mean,
Looking through the chair, you might be able to just put an potential lot 114, and then everyone's clear about the fact that lot 114 might not exist. And we get
Rector,
clarity
did
on
you
that.
want to comment any on this?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Through you, Mr Mayor, just on the planning scheme, it's got its own lot and plan number for that particular block. So the blocks are split and already subdivided.
Yeah, great.
It doesn't have it as 114. Obviously, if emergency markers and that sort of thing, it probably would be. If that was the case and there was a house there, but it's just unnamed at the moment, but it does have a lot in plan and it is split down the line between
What's the
116.
lot and plan number?
I do,
Because we could
it's,
just
Put
use
that in
that.
it, yeah.
sure, it's 1SP 188,
Can we just go a bit slow for Cal, Director Matt?
sorry.
You could put that in brackets if you.
Yeah, actually, yes, pop it in brackets.
104 is a different place altogether.
Yeah, sorry, for 114, Cal. No, where you got 114,
I think it's.
and then pop in and just put the lot and plan.
I think it's
Yeah,
always a
that-
bit fraught with danger putting lots in anyway. I mean, they should be registered, like, you're better off putting in the registered plan number.
Well, that's, yeah,
Happy
Like,
to do
like
that.
Yeah,
to be
that's-
spot on.
because now that we
You're
know
better
that's
off-
definitely done, but
You know, with
when you look at the
104, you're
map
better
that's
off doing it.
provided,
I was
it-
pretty sure it
yeah.
was.
And I think we definitely need to have that
Shouldn't be dealing
to be
with,
subdivided because
lot,
work's required to prepare, like, that's costing that.
Yeah.
It's already done.
No, anyway, regardless of that,
Okay.
it's, to say work's required, to me, that looks like preparing the
Yeah.
stumps and preparing, like, all that part, not the legal side of it. It reads as if it's getting ready to construct.
Well, no, some of the other bit of the works required is actually some of the, on the 104, John.
Yeah, I know that,
No.
but when it reads it, without knowing the legal side with the boundaries and that, it just reads as if we were getting ready to build.
Yep, so part of the 104 is actually having a look at because there is water that goes down through there, and so there would be having a look at what might be required for earthworks to be able to put a house on that. Look, Mr Mayor, my whole intention behind this is just to get them
Figures.
ready
Yeah.
for funding when it comes about.
Oh,
so
for
we
sure.
so we have a shovel-ready project that we can put some housing on. That's my whole intention.
Just, it's the one that the house is on there, is there long-term owners in that?
Council.
We own it.
No, resident.
Tenants, yes. Council workers.
So do they use that paddock like for a horse, but the
No,
corner
no,
is just
no.
empty?
It's an empty.
Not fenced.
spot, Yeah.
No, I think that now that we know there is a lot number, that's covers it now,
We better just.
even though no one.
Happy
Okay.
to, do you want to put the lot number in for, the plan number for lot 104 as well?
Yeah, I'm happy to supply that later if you want and include it. Or
So I think the CEO, you understand
Yeah.
what we're talking about, so that's good. Okay, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Number 3, Joe, investigate, why, are you looking to buy land as well?
Oh, so number 3, Surat is locked by stock route right around it. And so the state own, so we have got nowhere to go outwards. And there is a perfect block of land which is opposite the tyre service there, that's that
Yeah.
block of land there, that has always been on the radar to be able to open Surat up that way. It's stock route and so it's state owned. So all I want to do is investigate what do we need to do
Get it.
to start thinking about opening up these
Yeah,
blocks of land because we've got nowhere. Like, honestly, these 2 blocks of land are the only blocks of land that council owns that's outside of flood zone.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to.
Now, there is some other blocks in town, and we just need to be a bit mindful of that,
But there are other blocks that we own in town that are not in the flood zone, like that one there.
the SES, so that actually has our SES on it. Councillor
Oh,
Guthrie, you
where
can't. Yeah,
Street.
yeah. It's opposite the school, and it's got our SES shed on there,
Oh, so that's designated for expansion of that.
Well, it's right in the middle of it, you can't do anything there.
Another horse there.
Okay, we've got to keep going with the meeting. Right, so,
It's clear.
councillor Hancock, have you spoken to it?
No, I haven't. Mr Mayor, basically, just as I said before, the intention of this report is simply to start doing something to investigate the costs and what is required to be able to get both these lots up to specs, so that when funding becomes available, external funding becomes available, that we've got a shovel-ready project ready to go. And also Surat is locked in by stock route, and so the only way we can grow our town is to try and work with the state government to be able to obtain some of that stock route, and so just start that process going as well, so that we can get on the front foot of some opening up development opportunities for the Surat community.
Okay, I'll speak to it too. I'm very glad to support this motion. I was concerned when we were talking about selling off blocks because I just don't think, I think it's too difficult unless people got cash to actually build houses. And I think council needs to do it. I think that will actually bring the new residents, giving them a great experience when they come to town, and take the pressure off, the available rentals in the town if we're putting more new rentals in. But we need to build the houses. So I'm very supportive of this motion because, then we can sort of get around the gridlock. I know other areas this is happening. And we're certainly looking for some low-interest money, which we can have council consider. This is the way to get our local builders to be able to build housing in the Maranoa, and if not, maybe transportables. But I think there'll be local builders that will do it. But we've got to improve our procurement processes, and then I believe that will happen. Does anyone else wish to speak?
I've just got a question.
Please go ahead.
Councillor Hancock, just in number 2 there, do you need to stipulate anything about the target sort of, what area you're trying to target down there, or does that complicate it too much? With like who wants a house and who's going to live in it and what type of people, what type of demographics, that sort of thing.
I think there's been a fair bit of work done on that for Surat. There's been housing reports and through SDDA, and I guess that I'm leaving it open to a house dwelling. So that's why I've actually put house or units, because either of them would be beneficial to the town.
Yep.
And maybe if we get an opportunity, we could consider both in different parcels of land. And also I wanted to leave it open to the director to look at what might be suited on which block of land, because one block of land is bigger than the other block of land as well.
So make it broad so that it covers all that.
Well, that's why I just put housing and
okay.
units.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to put duplex, but basically a house or a unit. Council already owns houses and units down.
No, that's good.
So.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? We'll go with Councillor McMullen, then O'Neill.
Mr Mayor, I'll support this motion. I'm happy with all of it, but number 3, I think it's something we really need to, as a council, need to really push for that, because as Councillor Hancock said, there's nowhere else to go. So if that's only allocated for stock route, we should be pushing the government to release it to council for housing.
Okay, Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Chair. I seconded this, and I'm supporting it on the basis that this will kick it along to actually look at some tangible ways that we can start to address the housing issue that we all know is prevalent right across the region, and Surat is not immune to that either. And so I thank Councillor Hancock for bringing forward something that does actually move it in the right direction for council to consider what it would cost to, build appropriate houses so that we can start to see a change in what is crippling our region in terms of attracting staff, attracting people into our community. So I look forward to seeing the report back within the next couple of months so we can further advance this, and hopefully by then there's some major announcements in terms of what we might be able to access in relation to point 2, which is the external funding source.
Councillor Guthrie.
I just have a question. I'm going to support this. I think it's a good one, but I'm just going to query the 2 months time frame, because we have been talking about sources of funding that may become available. Are we confident that those sources will be here within the 2 months to be part of this program?
Through the chair, no. However, the country would be forced into a new election if it's not, if a decision isn't made, if the legislation doesn't go through the Senate. Look, I'm quietly confident that the Australian government can sort itself out and that we'll get the viable options, but they're all sitting there. They're waiting for the government of the day to...
So 2 months is doable?
My understanding is that by the end of this month, that'll be before the Senate.
And the 2 months isn't about funding. The 2 months
It's
is
actually
just to get
getting
this report
information
back about the information, so that when the funding comes available, we're ready to go.
Ready, yeah.
But the question I had is, if you've got information and you've got access to all of that, it will inform the way that the report gets written and the way it will then, the direction that will proceed. To me, it's linked.
Yeah.
or could be linked.
Um,
It's not
yeah.
mutually exclusive, but it could be very helpful.
Yeah, for me, my intention is not about finding the funding at the moment, it's just about
Spade ready. Yeah.
getting the report back.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Does the mover wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
Righto, we're going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, 11.1, monthly financial report as 31st of July 2023. Do we have a mover? I'll move that the council receive and note the monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of July 2023. We have a seconder, Councillor Edwards. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak?
Have a question?
Please go ahead.
Through you, Mr Mayor. I'm just on the sale yards, the big sheet we've got here. I just wondered, the RADF, has that come out of that July yet?
Sorry, through the chair, the sale would not have occurred, so this is as at the 31st of July, so no, not yet.
When was the sale?
This month, not last month.
Is it in August? That's a good question. Happy to
Well,
take
I
it on
don't know,
notice
but that's
and
what the CEO said.
The report's
take that
to
on notice and confirm that for you.
31st of
I'm
July.
just, so obviously the amount for the RADF
Yeah,
isn't
that's
isn't out of
it's a
there?
good point.
Because we were going to put it on a separate line anyway, weren't we?
It's certainly part of the quarterly budget review, but quite simply, we forego the revenue on the day. So I'll take that question on notice.
Yeah,
and
we'll,
get that
we'll,
information
we'll come
for
back to you with an answer.
So because first we've got to find out what the date was and which
Yeah, no, that's fine.
year
It's
it's in.
just a question, just going on the totals. I just
Yep.
assumed there would be a line that said sponsorship or donation or something.
through the chair after the quarterly review, which will be October. Yeah. So
It was August. We only made the decision last meeting.
yeah, no. Through the chair, the councillor just wanting to see it nice and clearly in the unit budget. Yeah.
Thank you.
You mean, Councillor O'Neill, that the auction was in August?
No, we haven't had it yet.
No, but the one where
Right.
the
just
forgoing
done
of the
one.
revenue.
Didn't they do one in July? I thought it
Yeah,
was
I
in
thought
July.
it was,
Yeah, because we had the check, the photo with the check.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So
I've seen the
Because
photo.
are you talking
Yeah,
about
I'll
the
see.
policy or the,
Sorry.
the
I'm
I'm
auction?
talking about the Careflow one. You're
I
talking,
know.
the one that's been.
The
yeah.
actual,
Yeah.
the
July
half,
5.
50% reduction in fees for
Yeah.
the sale, that one. So we'd have to find out what that date
Yeah,
is.
we'll come back to council with an answer on that.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
Councillor Hancock had a hand up.
Oh, sorry, Mr Mayor.
No, please go ahead. I didn't see that
No,
till
it was-
right at the...
Right, yeah, well, it's right at the last minute, I acknowledge that. Sorry, just the quarry. Is that, sorry, is this from, is it already in the negative and we're only 1 month into the budget? And I understand the quarry works, I get about that, but it just,
Yeah, it's already in the negative.
That's correct, it's in a negative situation.
do
Off 1
Did
month.
we forecast that? Did we know that when we were, do you know, like for the quarry, because it goes up and down so much?
That's
do
correct. Yeah,
Do
so,
we have a forecast of that?
so we don't, what we do is we do it as a flat line. So what we do is we phase it across the 12 months, but sometimes the production might be up and down. So obviously in July, and we do have a meeting with the manager for the quarry tomorrow, so that's one question I've actually got for him tomorrow to provide us a little bit of background as to why his sales were down.
But
there'll
can't-
be an historical too.
But the whole budget can't be in the negative, can it? Like,
No.
we would have given them a budget at the.
No,
base.
so if you look on the left-hand side, the quarry for the year, including the quarry pits, will be for $1.8 million.
But you're looking at timing differences. So
Yes.
for argument's sake is that if orders were placed during the month, they're not necessarily paid for during that month. And so you'll
Yeah.
have terms in relation to that. But we certainly can verify any of that.
Yeah,
for you.
and I understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get business, but I was just, I guess, a little bit surprised when the very first month it's.
So, yeah, no, it is very surprising to me as well too, and that's one of the questions I had for him tomorrow. But you will notice that across the year, including the quarry pits, I think the quarry itself, off the top of my head, was $1.2 million profit for the year, and I think we were increasing the pits by around about, I think it was about $400,000, $500,000 for the year, compared to last year. The quarry pits, the budget was only about $100,000.
Would it be, it might be helpful for the councillors, even if there was predictions line sort of sent to us for the cash forecast, just so we go, oh, yeah, righto, but we know that a sale's coming, or, you know.
In budget that they were expecting 157,869, like that's what they budgeted, but it's come in a negative.
Yeah.
Look, and through the chair,
So-
a little bit of narrative there might just
We've,
help.
Yeah, that's, I guess, would be.
Our trend is only 1 month's trend at the moment, because we're only reported on July. So we can't, as per what Councillor Taylor is saying, you'll get a better understanding about that probably after the first quarter as to how what I term the run rate is, to see how they're progressing throughout the year. This is early days for the quarry. All I can say is as we go through it, we do see a pipeline of expected sales.
There'd be a forecast.
Yeah, of sales and how they progress. It depends on. There's lots of factors around how those particular sales occur.
Councillor McMullen.
Yeah, I've probably pretty well been answered now, but what I was going to say was I think what's happened for the quarry, I think a big part of our sales are TMR.
Yep.
And July is always very quiet, you know, like, and so we're still crushing and whatever else, but it's not
Yeah,
going
so
the front
to me that's a timing issue.
Yeah.
You will also notice that in some of the other areas which I've also asked a question about is in July we've budgeted for our rates in some of those areas, such as the water, the sewage and the gas as well, but we haven't got any sales against it because we issue the notices in August and September. So what we need to do for us to improve, we need to make sure that our budgeting fits in with what our operations are doing.
Okay, Councillor Taylor.
That would be my thing, like just taking the quarry where you've got year-to-date budget, so you budgeted that you should have got money in, but you didn't. But then you should have really realised that because it's
Correctly.
July.
Correct.
Yeah, and the same with the water and the sewage.
Yep, and that's a maturity level from a financial management perspective and budgeting perspective. Sorry.
Councillor Edwards.
Through you, Mayor, so just on stock, you know, like production.
Yes.
Is there much production happened in July?
Look, we did get a report yesterday, last night, and I did have a look at that. I think production was higher than sales. So, and that was, I think that was for the fortnight. So I don't actually have one for the month at this point in time, but
Do they generally crush and, you know, they generally produce stock
yes,
throughout every month?
yes,
There's no
yes.
quiet period, they just keep producing?
That would be correct. They did have some reasonable production last month. I do know that he had some staffing issues, and
There'd be a fair bit of stock there.
I think it's about 37,000 tonnes. I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, which at a rate, you know, you could value that, and that'd, and if you sold that on the open market straight away, you'd bring it in. You know,
Oh, correct.
you know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So just for councillors' benefit, the way that I understand it, unless it's changed, we don't, like in a normal business, you actually have stock, but in the quarry, we don't have stock. So we do have stock, like we crush it,
But it's
and,
not,
and normally you'd have stock and you'd have $1 million worth of stock and you'd go, well, that's there, and then you'll either have a profit even though you haven't sold the million. Well, they don't have any stock at the quarry. So we're actually, and that's to Councillor Edwards' point, that they actually, if they crushed in that month, it doesn't get recorded as stock, but it is stock for council. So it's a weird way that local government does it, whereas everyone else would go, but you did 37,000 tonnes of stock at, you know, $10 a tonne or whatever, but we don't count it like in local government accounting things. So unless it's changed, that's a big difference. So it easily makes losses quite easily, whereas normally you'd say, I bought a lot of stock, but I did a stock take and it's sitting there. Councillor McMullen?
yeah, Mr. Just in light of what everything's been said, in the last term of council, staff decided to go the other way, not crush until the orders were in, and we lost a lot of customers. So, you know, there's...
Yeah. You do have about 37,000 tonnes on hand of a value of just over 800,000. So the production is there to be sold. however, it is about selling it and getting the revenue back in.
And
So
that,
there
and
is
that's the important point.
differences.
Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? Then we're going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you. .13.1, addition to the road register, unnamed road off Burtons Road. Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that Council 1 endorse the addition of the unnamed section of road off Burtons Road, Roma, onto Council's road register with the classification of rural access secondary and an estimated length of 0.555 of a kilometre. 2, consult the residents that directly adjoin the unnamed section of road off Burtons Road to gauge their input into the potential road naming of this section, giving regard to council road naming policy. 3, be presented with a subsequent report detailing the outcome from the community engagement with the residents with a view of formally naming the unnamed section of off-road of Burtons Road, Roma.
I'll second that.
Okay, councillor Ladbrook seconds that. Does the move wish to speak to the
Yeah,
motion?
Mr Mayor, I think this is, well, as I think the other week when we discussed it, it's something that probably could have been done some years ago, so, yeah, I'm just hoping if this gets up today, I asked the question of the director, if it's approved today, how long do you think before council would be able to work it, considering they're working in the area?
Yeah, we'd be able to move on that pretty
Pretty quick,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, certainly to get that access up to a standard that meets the classification.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Mr Mayor.
Okay, I'll speak to this. This is one of the great benefits of operating locally is we're sorting these out. We're doing them within our budget. They're not major requests. We're in the area anyway, and instead of saying yes, we can go yes, we can do it, instead of saying no. So I'll certainly be supporting this, and it makes a big difference to the residents in that area. So I'll be certainly supporting this request. Does anyone else wish to speak? Does the move wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
I'll go to the vote then. All those in favour? 9-0. .13.1, Flying Fox Management Plan. We have a mover, councillor Hancock.
I'm happy to move, Mr Mayor. I just got a couple of questions. Okay. Just with number 2, where it says endorse the allocation of the funds, is that for us internally or are we paying someone externally? It just doesn't say anywhere.
Through you, Mr Mayor. So prior to this, Range hadn't given us a price for their next phase of the planning funding scheme. So there's an allocation there now to fund that. So I think it's around $8,000 to fund that. But there's also a requirement to do some ongoing monitoring. So we're pulling some funds out of the OPEX just to make sure that we get the right data for this season coming ahead.
So who's monitoring them? Council or external?
It'll be the Range, and well, potentially it'll be a contractor that's appointed, and so we've got a quote from the existing contractor, and we're likely to appoint them moving forward, due to the fact that they've got an ongoing arrangement with us already.
And thank you, Director Matt. And then also just some concern on page 86. It identifies the location, and the last map that we had at a briefing, it gave us 2 locations. It gave us the first one that was originally, but then gave us the one upstream, downstream a bit further, and we were going to put forward them together as the 2, obviously trying to get them to the first one first and then move them further along. And so I'm just a bit concerned that that's not in the plan.
So you originally had the 3 sites there. The original one was on the weir itself, and the plan was to move them potentially downstream to site 2 or 3. So I'd have to go back and check with Range on that. what the discrepancy is in the report, but look, essentially we're trying to move them downstream and not very far away from the existing site.
Would we be able to get that information today?
Absolutely. Yeah, look, I wasn't aware there was a discrepancy in the report, but we can certainly get that to you.
Because I was reading it again
Yep.
last night and I
Yep.
just noticed that, but in the briefing, we definitely had the two locations because it was a bit of a concern, like we're trying to get them further down. So I would like to see that in the plan.
Sorry, just under the alternate long-term low conflict roost habitats on page, I'm not sure what page it's there, but 45 in the actual draft, it does have council undertake roost habitat embellishment works generally in accordance with identified alternate roost locations 2 and 3. So
Yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, there's questions, but
Well, can we just hold off and grab the questions so we get everyone's, and then if you want to move that?
My comment was just going to be on page 131. They have all of the different alternative sites as part of the report. And the information is basically there about 131.
So, with that, I'm a little bit more concerned because we need to actually, like that gives options like number 5 and number, like,
We just picked two.
in the plan, do we, I guess I need some directions, like I'm supportive of number 2 and 3 to be working on that together. Do we need to specify that in the plan?
Yeah, okay, so we can take that as a question. Councillor Guthrie, have you got a
Mr. Mayor,
question?
I just looked at the analysis based on all of the different on page 131, sorry, 130,
yeah.
as to why they selected that one. When I read it, I realised, or I believed it was because of the table with the preferred criteria.
And through the chair, you may just want to improve the resolution so it's a little bit more explicit.
Options 2 and 3.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So,
But I also have a question as well. Like, when we go to that photo, it says, page 86, it says, what location has been identified downstream of the weir location. So then they've got ones above the weir.
that's where the existing one is, Mr. Mayor. That red is where they are now.
So the town is on this side of the river, obviously, and so it doesn't show the downstream ones on that photo, does it?
The green section is the downstream one. See where the weir is further down? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
that's further down. But then that's number 2, but number 3 is just up and around the corner a bit further.
Yeah, right.
On page 131, this map is a bit better. It does give the alternative locations.
Is there a difference between the
1, 2, 3.
what we're reading in the, because this says MRC Flying Fox Management Plan 2023, and then there's a,
So
is that all one document?
through you, Mr. Mayor, the report is actually in the Flying Fox Management Plan draft for community consult, and that should be in the attachments, and that is where it's like the locations are nominated for 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5. I'm not sure if you've...
Yeah, that's the one there, I think.
Yeah. So location 2 is downstream of the weir, and location 3 in that report. Location 5 is upstream of the report. Yeah.
So, what,
Look, through the chair, you could improve it. Just quite simply is if you're worried that option 4, which isn't always clear in here, is select option 4 in the recommendations, brackets, relocation to site 2 and 3, and then provide in principle support for round 6 for implementation. Maybe make that number 2.
Would you put
Endorse them.
would you put figure 6 alternate routes locations page 131 so
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
that
Yeah,
map?
exactly that.
Yep.
so can we do?
Did you get that, Kel? Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, can we lay this on the table, because I really think this is a big decision and we've got to get it right.
Yeah.
Just for later on in the meeting, because I'm looking at the different options that were given, and there's some red there about the potential for flying foxes to be shifted, and they've got very low likelihood, etc. I'm only going on the tables here, so if we could maybe lay it on the
Well,
table.
councillor Hancock had asked for some questions anyway, and she was going to lay it on the table. We just want to get everyone's
Move it, yeah, have we?
questions.
Yeah.
Get everyone, does anyone else have any questions they want answered? Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, just in terms of the option 4 on page 70, should it read, why has the acronym of FFRMP, which is the Flying Fox Roost Management Plan, why has that been omitted from option 4? Yet it's in options 2 and 3. Should it be there? Like, provide in principle support to what?
Yep, that's fine.
Is it in principle support of the FFRMP? It should be. Proceed to round 6 to 5. Yeah, so we definitely need to hone in on the sites, because that's what, I looked for the option, but the option wasn't telling me what sites we were going to give support to.
The other thing that I've got as a question is, and I know it would be very labour intensive, but if it's the flowering trees that are attracting, or is it just the roosts? But is there a way that we could, when they flower, cut out all the flowers? Because it looks like we can't do anything lethal. There's a lot of options we can't. So the community just have to live with it. But is there anything where it might be labour intensive, but it could be part of a program or job program or whatever that we can work on those?
That's in the plan, Mr Mayor. I read that it's in the plan to work on other options, because I was
Vegetation.
very concerned that this was, if we took this to the community with just a plan to move the flying foxes down the river, that won't be enough. We need to actually have a further plan about what we're going to do ourselves in the township to make it not as nice.
And I don't mean cut, because someone said cut all the trees out, but that might be very drastic. But what I'm saying is when they're flowering and, they've got their buds and that what do we do to put the effort in to make sure that it's not attractive to them?
Yeah, the only thing, Mr Mayor, I'm just thinking outside the square, if we do anything to flowers with that, like the bees, like you don't want to hunt other species like bees away from being there either. So you've got to be balance up the other.
Ecosystem.
Yeah, but compared, I understand what you're saying, but compared to what the town has to live through, it's like a small price because it's a really serious thing for the
Bees
town.
aren't a small price, but anyway, but maybe like instead of getting rid of the trees on say a high pressure hose, if you could blow all that flower when it's flowering, clean off, the trees aren't affected. It's on the ground. They're not going to go down when it's on the ground. Not really.
Through you, Mr Mayor, this is about the strategy and the framework of the Flying Fox Roost Management Plan for Maranoa. It will be an ongoing consultation phase, and it is a living document. So we haven't locked in any long-term options at this stage, but what we really need to do on table today is establish, we agree in principle, we need a plan and policy in place, and then we can go and get some funding to action that, because we're in the middle of funding phase now, and it will run out in about 2 weeks. I think September's the funding for the next round of action. So, in principle, this will be consultation with yourselves, and then with the community broader scale as well.
Councillor Burke, just that bit with the bees, like, we've got the ability to, even if there's not enough food for them in the town, that we can even provide grow crops or whatever that have food, but we've just got this health issue that we're really worried about. So, Councillor McMullen?
Mr Mayor, from what I understand, and I'll stand correcting, but I'm sure we were told at many meetings, those trees were planted by council or members. They were never there originally, and didn't realise what the problem they were, by doing it, they were creating.
They planted them all across there because they were
Are they
growing.
all up the creek or just round Surat?
In our gardens, in council gardens.
Some residents have got them too, yeah.
Oh, because they were.
But
And
are
so
they,
there's an opportunity
but
to
are
do a
they
tree
a native
replacement
tree
program.
to the area that they chase?
No, they're
No.
Well, what attracts them to these other
because
areas?
they've got full.
I move that we lay this on the table to further in the meeting.
Okay, all those in favour of laying it on table to further in the meeting? 9-0.
Later in the meeting, sorry, that
Yeah.
wasn't very good pronunciation.
Righto, moving on.
Page 148.
48. 13.3, expressions of interest to lease council-owned land, lot 127 on SP 203-119 and lot 128 on SP 206-888. Do we have a mover? I'll move that council fund that one. I'll start again. That council fund 55,000 to fence a portion of lot 127 on SP 203119 into 4 1-acre blocks and a portion of lot 128 on SP 206888 into 6 5-acre blocks. 2, call for expressions of interest to lease council-owned land being portions of lot 127 on SP 203-119 on and lot 128 on SP 206-888, situated in Mitchell for the period of 1 year for grazing purposes. Do we have a seconder?
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to second it, but I've got a question as to water. Is there access to water for these blocks?
Yes, the 4 1-acre blocks, there's already water there. The 6 5-acre blocks, that cost includes running water from the bore. There's a stock bore there down to there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, were you first, councillor Burkett, or was it?
No, there you go.
I was just going to second it, yeah, but it's...
You're good.
So, okay, so we'll go with councillor Burkett. I'll speak to the motion. This is exciting, and I thank the director for the work that's been done. Obviously, we've had feedback from local residents. It's a really big thing. It's probably one of the biggest things that we can offer people moving for a country change, is to be able to have somewhere to have a horse. This is a way to do it. Not everyone is in a financial position to spend the significant amount of money to buy land and a house on acreage. So this is a stepping stone for people to be able to get in the door and have some of the great benefits of a country lifestyle as part of living in our towns, and in this case, in the Mitchell area. Does anyone else wish to speak?
I'll speak, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'm happy to support this, and I thank Director Seamus for bringing this forward. There is a new resident town that's sort of kicked this, but there's been more. I had an stock agent just moving to town. They got a couple of horses. They got nowhere to put it because they've only got a manager's house sort of thing. So there's a lot of need for this, and also the benefit also might kick on the pony club again, which is a lot of history in the Maranoa Pony Club, and it's in dormant stage at the moment. So this might help that out. The first 4 paddocks are the old slips off the old sale yards. So yeah, existing just been replaced, so they're always there. But so yeah, I think it's a positive thing moving forward.
Okay, Councillor McMullen.
I'm all for it too, Mr Mayor. I just have a question for the director. The fencing, will the fencing be appropriate for horses and that?
Yes, that's what we asked the contractor to provide the quote on.
I just noted we fenced the proposed cemetery block over here, and it's got 5 barbs or 4 barbs.
They cut themselves on playing wire just as good as Barb.
Not eh? Barb's worse.
I've had one.
No good for the horse.
No, I've got one.
Anyway.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, so moving on. 13.4. 158, proposed RACQ EV charging station at Mitchell.
And there's a declaration.
I've got a conflict.
Okay, do we have conflicts? Let's do them first. Who's first?
Yep. Councillor Burkett.
Declaration of interest item 13.4, description proposed RACQ EV charging station in Mitchell. Declaring council as myself. Person of interest is my father, Gary Burkett. Particulars interest, Gary is executive member of the Bungil Heritage Museum, and they are mentioned in the report, but only as an adjacent property, not anything to do with the subject matter. Type of conflict is declarable. Although of a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias, therefore I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Okay, righto. Deputy Mayor, I might just get you to just take over for a minute. I've just got to attend to something and I'll be back.
Okay. So, Councillor Burkett's declared a conflict. Any other conflicts? Councillor Taylor?
No, but I'm prepared to,
Oh, sorry, yeah.
that is in public
wasn't
interest
concentrating.
that councillor Burkett.
We'll wait for you, councillor McMullen, to sit down.
I wasn't
Yeah,
concentrating.
a chance to.
It's okay.
So go ahead, please, councillor Taylor.
That it is in the public interest that councillor Burkett participates and votes on agenda item 13.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Councillor Guthrie, seconder. Any opposition or anything? All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 0. So we're now on to the subject. Heading, subject, item 13.4, proposed RACQ EV charging station at Mitchell. Do I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Edwards?
You put it down, mate.
I'll explain later, Councillor Edwards.
What's going on?
You're right.
No, you're right there, Mark.
That council authorise the chief executive officer or their delegate to finalise a licence agreement with RACQ-QRIDA for installation and operation of an electric vehicle charging station. Should a mutually beneficial agreement be negotiated?
Anyone, any opposition? Seconder for Councillor Ladbroke.
Question?
Councillor Hancock, you have a question?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, just do we need to say where it's going in the resolution, Director?
They've provided their preferred option, which is shown in that map. It's right behind the spa. It would be good to have the latitude. We offered them 2 sites. One was adjacent to the Memorial Park, and one was behind the spa. Behind the spa, there's areas which are flooded worse than others. It'd be good to allow them to move sideways if they want to. It'd be really great to be able to let them move up to Memorial Park if we had to. They're aware of the flooding. They said they'll put it up on a plinth. They're not too worried about it. So, because I think that the cheap infrastructure is on the ground, the really expensive stuff's up in the poles. I think that's how that works. Talking to the Deputy Director of Infrastructure, that the 400,000 or something's up in the poles. The thing on the ground is 20 grand or something.
So we don't have to actually stipulate it in the resolution because you guys still want to be able to negotiate where it's going. Is that?
That would be great if that was okay. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Councillor Taylor was next, sorry.
Well, I'm just wondering, RACQ, that's got nothing to do with the ones that are coming to Roma, so it's two totally different things.
Totally different things, but this one's fully funded as well. So it's Queensland Government and RACQ fully funding it, which was we went back to them and said, "Are you sure?" And they said, "Yes, we're definitely fully funding that
So the
that
ones that are
infrastructure."
coming to Roma, they're going to.
They're the same apparently. They're
but
fully
it's
funding it as well.
It is a different scheme though, because
Yeah.
at the few of the bag meetings this was discussed, and it's that different trail. They skipped over Roma. This Councillor Edwards, you are next, and then Councillor O'Neill.
Deputy, through you, Chair. Seamus, just where it says should a mutually beneficial agreement be negotiated, is the location included in the agreement, or should we add the location there?
Oh, the location will be included in the agreement, but we just want to make sure that the chief executive's happy with, all those license arrangements, the insurance, all that sort of stuff. If we can't come to something that everyone agrees to, then that's mutually beneficial. I think we're all happy to can.
And that includes the location.
Including the location. Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor O'Neill, you had something?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Seamus, I'm just confused about RACQ and QRIDA. Is the Queensland Rural Industry Development Authority, they're funding it?
They're funding a significant proportion of it, and then RACQ are funding the gap.
And so is it a joint agreement?
It's a joint agreement between RACQ and QRIDA.
Okay.
And I believe the one in Roma is the same, but it's not with RACQ, it's with a different
Yeah.
group and the Queensland government,
Okay.
probably through Q Rider. So I
Just
think
interesting to see a Queensland government and a third party on the same agreement, but
I believe the Queensland government's funding, you know, most of these charging stations, but they've got different partners.
Okay.
So in Roma, it's Yarraka, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah,
or
got it.
Eureka. Yep.
good one, thank you.
Councillor Ladbroke.
Just with, this might sound a bit silly, but you know, like with your car, to go in there, you just swipe a card or whatever you do.
We think it's going to be an app, you know, on the phone. You,
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yep.
you
And
sort of
the
get a code.
costing, so these companies or governments putting in these things, they'll want to make a profit or they're non-profit.
They'll definitely want to cover their,
Yep.
cover their investment in the infrastructure. So I think they'll, you know, I would imagine that there would be some profit in this for them.
So if you're, you know, fairly low, do you know, in power, how long will it take to fill your car?
Good question, but I believe it's sort of an hour or two, which is a good amount of time for a coffee and maybe a dip in the spa.
Yeah, but if you've got 3 or 4 people behind you, it's not going to be real good, is it?
I think they might have 2 things on it.
It's a dual one, isn't it?
I think it's got a couple of things on it, councillor, that, you know, so you can do probably 2 cars at once.
Yes.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, no one else wishes to speak? Does the
We
move?
haven't got to that.
All right, well, does the move wish to speak?
That's me, no thanks.
Oh, Mr Mayor,
Please go ahead.
I'm supportive of this, but sceptical of the whole, this way we're going in the world, with electric vehicles. I'm not sold on it yet, but I do think it is a benefit to have them in each town for sure, and I do take on what the director said about if it was at the spa, it would benefit those guys. And there's a transformer at both ends, so I think it covers that way at the park and also at the couple of things that concern me, if it's at the back of the spa, if we do go ahead with the tourist precinct and the gym potentially goes there, it sort of starts clogging up that area, and then things like the triathlon, but that's things we can negotiate. So I think once we get this on board and then we weigh up the options, then I think it's a good way forward, because we'll get left behind if we don't do it. So, but yeah, it's definitely on the fence with driving one of those battery operated turnouts anyway.
Okay, well, I'll speak to it. I'll support it. We've got to really look after people that do have these vehicles and want to come to town. And if we don't have this, then it's not good. They can't venture further west. For Councillor Burkett's benefit, I think Ford make a EV in a ute. So they might be coming in some form, but it may be a long time because of many other issues. So, but yeah, no, I'll certainly be supporting this, and we want people to come to our region, visit, support our food establishments, and support the communities. So, I'll be supporting this. Does anyone else wish to speak? Does the move wish to sum up?
Yes, I didn't talk before, but yeah, just based on what everyone said, regardless of your persuasions in relation to EVs, I think it's a great idea, because you've just got to get with it, and if we don't, as Councillor said, we'll get left behind. So, but I think it's pretty certain that it's all going to go that way, and technology just gets better and better. So I see this is going to be great for travel, and if it breaks down, well then people have got they can spend a bit of time in Mitchell then and spend all their money. So yeah, certainly support it.
There's a fire hydrant just there too. Put it out.
Well, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Then page 163.
13.5, reinstating the Junior Sports Award. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that council approve option 2.
We have a second at Councillor Ladbroke. We have a question. Councillor Hancock.
I've got an amendment to councillor Burkett.
It's about ages, I should have probably put that in.
No. Oh, yeah, we will have to add that in. Mr Mayor, if you'd allow me just to provide a little bit of background, which is why I want to put this amendment in, and I'm happy
Okay.
for councillors to help me put this in. What happened was we used to have a junior sports award, and the background is because I was on the LDO. I was the LDO when that was then council decided not to. The reason behind that was because across the region for quite a few years in a row, there was no junior sports award, or there might have been a junior and there was a senior. And then when you call in the smaller communities, when you call people up, you've got all these awards, but there's obviously big gaps in the awards. So that's when council decided just to do a sports award. I agree with Councillor Burkett that, I think when there is two eligible applications, we could split it into the two. I'm just wondering, the reason still stands in some of those smaller communities where we only get one and it looks bad. I'm wondering whether there's some way of wording this where...
Case by case.
Yeah, that you give the committee the right to either combine or separate the award.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want what I'm trying to say?
But it could be this. It's the same with everything, and we've talked about this too. If there's not a person that's nominated for Citizen of the Year and they don't fit the criteria, I'd rather see not have it or whatever, because we've talked about this. That's why we carried over the 2-year thing, because you were getting people that were hot, 3 or 4 really good nominations one year, and then a lesser one person next, and they get it, and then technically those 4 the previous year. So I think every year should be a case by case, because, and I'm not worried about the $500. That, to me, that's irrelevant. But
I'm wondering if we could do it in a way where on the application we can have separated seniors and juniors, but then when it comes to the actual assessment, thank you, Councillor O'Neill, the assessment, that the committee has a right to join the two together and just call it a sports award.
if there's only
one or two, and so that you don't have this whole big list.
Because we have changed it. Since we've been on, I think we've made a few changes, and I think people would rather see that, and also they'd rather see that if there's how many did we knock back because they didn't fit the criteria, so there's going to be cases like that. So I think it should be case by case.
Councillor Guthrie, you got a question?
I have, and I was just going to follow on from what Councillor Hancock was saying. I do believe you've got to have the 2 criteria there, but I think maybe if you then have council approve option 2, and then in brackets with the discretion to be able to review on a case by case for each year.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got to have both the senior and the junior there, because if people are looking and going, well, what nominations are we looking for? If you go the other way and just have a generic one, that you say we can then make junior or senior, those who are in the know would know that, but a majority of people wouldn't, and you're better off having it specified, and then the discretionary ability to then say, well...
Because the instant that triggered the, petition, was, what you had one that won an Australian champion, and then the other one won extraordinary things as well.
That triggered the customer request.
Either thing. But so in that instant, common sense should have prevailed, and it should have been, because it was unlevel playing field.
Okay, now, are you happy with that on the screen?
The only other thing, and I don't know whether this becomes in the discretionary part, the ages. Has it always been that high of an age, 25? Because you're an adult at 18,
through the
21?
chair, I'd say your standard youth stuff is 14 to 25. Through the chair, the standard youth stuff is 14 to 25. It's just a bit of a yardstick on most things when we describe
I'd
youth.
go 12 to 21, but we can do that in discretionary.
Well, not 12, because there can be 8-year-old. You know what I mean? There can be...
No, 12 up.
Yeah, but why don't we... It was always 25 because we were trying to give the juniors more of a chance against the 40 and 50-year-olds,
So just through the chair, just looking
Most
at the
fellas are in
at
that prime
the
then.
amendment is with the discretion to be able to review on a case-by-case basis each year, is that based on the number of nominations received?
that's probably... I would actually put council approve option 2, this is a suggestion, Councillor Burkett, with the ability for the committee with the ability for the committee to combine the awards
If necessary.
as a sportsman award or sportsperson, I can't remember.
Sportsperson.
Sportsperson award, if necessary, or if limited applications.
If
A
limited nominations.
award based on applications,
Yep.
and then get rid of the rest.
Yep.
That would be my suggestion.
That's happened in the past.
Yeah,
Nominations.
It's only a recommendation to council.
yeah.
Well, it's got to go through two processes before it's awarded anyway,
Yeah.
isn't it? So we can tick that then.
Yeah, okay, so what about your age thing? Do you want to do anything
Well,
there, or you want to leave it?
just that most sports nowadays, I'll just use footy as an example, you're not competitive till you're 13, 14, which is a good thing. So that's why I thought 12 and up, because they're in a competitive range, in a sporting thing then, but definitely not under that. But I don't know. Maybe that's something the
But
committee can
councillor,
workshop.
some sports are actually seniors when they turn 16.
Yeah.
So you've got to pick an age group rather than relying on conventional, because it depends on the actual sport, the code of sport as to when.
Well, you always get the advice back from the selection committee that give the advice, so unless you want to put some
No, we'll keep it
flexibility.
as is, and then, like I just said, we got two avenues before it's awarded anyway.
Can I just suggest that we change with the ability, can it be, council approve option 2 to include the ability? Because it just sounds a bit better to say to include the ability.
Okay, is councillor Burkett happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy to second that.
Oh.
Councillor Ladbroke already has.
Are you happy with the changes?
Yes.
Does anyone wish to speak to it?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I think this probably rectifies some of the issues we had and the concerns that people had in the community, and I think moving forward we can still nut it out in the committee of the assessing panel, and then also when it comes back to council. But I think it just gives that ability to adjudicate on certain things. I don't think the money thing's not an issue, because you got time after that to say, yes, we only need this amount of certificates and medallions or whatever. So I think it's a good thing moving forward, and I think the community will be happy.
Does anyone else wish to speak on this matter? I'll speak. Certainly very happy that this is driven by feedback from the community. That's what we're here for, and if we're a good council, I believe we're reflecting what the community is requesting, so I'll certainly be happy to support this. So does the move wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr.
We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Back in half an hour.
Well,
Remember-
11 o'clock, Mr Mayor.
We're working through the.
You're on robot
Straight
mode.
through with APL and
All
G.
right.
Morning team.
APL and G
So
are
through
coming
the
in.
chair,
and
page 167.
11
11.
o'clock.
Oh, 11.
Have a working morning tea with us.
14.1, Care Outreach Requests Mitchell.
I've got a.
Please go ahead.
Oh, just
Oh,
going
no,
to
you
move.
move. I'll ask a question
Yeah.
after you move.
I got to move that council, one, waive the fees for care outreach to use the main shed at the Mitchell Showgrounds and the Mitchell Retirement Village from the...
I have conflict
Is he still...
with Vice.
I can't remember the last AGM I think I went to.
Is he Vice?
She did.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
It
councillor-
was last year, but I don't know if they've had their AGM.
Declaration of interest from
Sorry.
councillor Hancock, yeah.
Sorry, Cal.
I might have one too, because it's on my birthday.
I don't think that counts.
Oh, doesn't
Sorry,
it?
Mr Mayor, if I can just do a
Sure.
declaration.
Yep. Deputy Mayor, I might just get you to take over, please.
Jeff, can we have just a 5-minute stretch our legs, or we'll just go for a walk? I'm just going to stretch my legs, mate. That's all.
I'm going to declare.
Oh,
You
sorry.
need to be here to
Oh,
vote.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, if that's okay. My brother-in-law, thanks Cal, brother-in-law Stephen Hancock, yeah,
I can write it for you.
yeah.
I could
Is the vice president, particulars of interest, my brother-in-law Stephen Hancock is the vice president of Mitchell Show Society. Who are users of the facility. And I'm just going to leave the room to be easy. Oh no, look, I'll put it to the room because it's about a facility. It's not about the Mitchell Show.
Councillor O'Neill?
I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on agenda item 14.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
All those in favour?
Oh, we just need a seconder, sorry.
Oh, second first,
I'll
sorry.
second
Councillor Burgett, then, any opposition? All those in favour? Councillor Ladbroke, you putting your hand up? Okay, it's 1, 2, 1, 2,
You just bought a hand wheel.
7-0, 7-0. Okay, I'll read it. Item 14.1, subject heading Care Outreach Request Mitchell. Do I have a mover, please?
Oh, I was up, yeah. I'll start again. I'd like to move the Council One waive the
It's up
fees
there,
to
probably.
Care Outreach to use the main shed at the Mitchell Showgrounds and Mitchell Retirement Village from the 15th of November 2023 to the 8th of December 2023 inclusive, as long as no paying customer requests use of the facility in this time. 2, allocate the fee waiver of $9,624 from GL 2887.2412.2132 Community Service Obligation Budget.
Have a seconder, please. Councillor Guthrie?
I've got a question.
Councillor O'Neill's got a question. Go ahead, please.
More, could end up an amendment, but my question is, if we sign off on this today and give the Care Outreach the go-ahead from the 15th of November through to the 8th, they're going to be all set up at the showgrounds. I imagine they're using the main shed.
Says main shed.
Yeah. Well, if we sign off on this, it shouldn't be as if then someone comes along and wants to pay for it, because we're giving them the green light to do it, and then if someone comes along and says, well, we're going to pay to use it, we're going to have to get them all out. Like, if no one's got a book now, then this should stand in my view.
I'm just trying to think.
I'm the same.
I can't remember. Tanya might know it's Raymond, but they don't. Do they use? I've never been down into the hall in the shed while they're there. How much room they do take? If it's,
Can you answer something there, Director, please, or maybe?
Yeah,
Manager
through the
Tanya?
chair, I don't remember them occupying a lot of space last time.
ah.
So they do it every year. And you might know too.
So through the chair, is the question being asked that do they need the whole shed? Is that what we're saying? Is that
No, my question
potential
is,
other-
should we have that last bit in after the apostrophe in
Yeah, the
number
as long
1?
as-
We've
no
never
payment,
had a
yeah.
problem, so I don't see why taking that out would be a
Yeah,
problem
I
this
reckon
year.
Well,
stop.
Get rid of it.
Yeah,
you-
okay, we'll get rid
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
then.
You're going to remove?
Yes,
Yeah.
Moving an amendment?
yes.
Councillor, who?
Well, I'm not moving it because
No.
he's accepted it.
He's accepted.
Well, he's
Okay.
doing it himself.
Okay.
All good.
Can I ask you to read it out again, please, Councillor Burkett, just for the
I'd love to.
people online?
At Council One, waive the fees of Care Outreach to use the main shed at the Mitchell Showgrounds and Mitchell Retirement Village from the 15th of November 2023 to the 8th of December 2023 inclusive. Oh, I need inclusive.
2023.
23, sorry. And 2, allocate the fee waiver of $9,624 from GL 2887.2412.2132 Community Service Obligation Budget.
Councillor Guthrie, you happy with that? Any
Get
opposition?
rid of inclusive, Kel.
Why would you get rid of inclusive?
Yeah, full stop after 2023.
Yeah, that makes sense. Leave it there.
So we could kick them out on the 7th of December.
Yeah, because what,
That's what the inclusive's for, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
is that
include-
between
it's
15th of
include.
November and 8th of December?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's a package.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
So any opposition to the motion? Anyone want to speak? For or against? All those in favour? 7-0.
Fantastic. Page.
Page 172. Item number 14 point. Councillor Burkett's left the room. Item 14.2, user agreement, Roma Community Arts Centre, Roma on Bungil Incorporated. Have a mover, Councillor O'Neill.
I move that Council 1 enter into a new exclusive agreement with Roma on Bungil Gallery Incorporated for a period of 5 years for the use of the Roma Community Arts Centre, gallery and shared storeroom. 2, charge no hire fee. 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to sign the user agreement.
I'll second that.
Councillor Ladbroke. I have a question. I'm probably getting a bit picky too. Do we, because it's a fee waiver, effectively a fee waiver, we'll charge no fee, do we have to say with anyone else where we're getting money from to out of a bucket to cover it?
What's the GL?
Sorry?
What's the GL?
Well, gee, that's probably the...
Or the question is, do we
have to, yeah.
do we actually have a fee and charge for that in the fee and charges? We don't.
No.
We don't have it in there.
Yeah,
No.
there's no actual fee in the
Yeah.
fees and charges.
Okay,
and it's an
all good, I'm happy with that. Anyone else want to speak for or against?
I just want to, as the mover, thank the Roma on Bungil Gallery and the volunteers for the work that they do down there. They always gather a crowd with any of the exhibitions that they launch in our community, and this is a gesture of good faith and partnership that we're entering into a further 5-year agreement with no fee.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against? Councillor Ladbroke.
I'll just speak forward. I think this is a wonderful gesture because the gallery does a wonderful job, all the girls there. And they do a good job and they deserve to have it, the fee waived.
Any other questions or anyone want to speak? All those in favour? 7-0.
There's a couple of men on the committee too.
Is there? Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Are they the ones at the bar?
Page 175. Page 175. Item 14.3, Roma and District, subject heading Roma and District Lapidary and Mineral Society Incorporated User Agreement. Have a mover, please. Councillor Taylor.
Move that Council 1 enter into an exclusive user agreement with the Roma and District Lapidary and Mineral Society Incorporated for a period of 5 years for the use of the Lapidary building at 17 McDowell Street, Roma. 2, charge no hire fee for the use of the Lapidary building for this term of this agreement. And 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to sign the agreement.
Councillor Edwards, seconding it. Any opposition to the motion? Anyone wish to speak for or against? All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 8 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 0. I can count. Page 181, is it?
178.
I've jumped
178.
178. I've missed one. Page 178. Roma and District Family History Society Incorporated User Agreement.
I'll move.
Councillor Edwards.
I'll move that Council 1 enter into an exclusive agreement with Roma and District Family History Society Incorporated for a period of 5 years for the use of the building and storage shed at 17 McDowell Street, Roma. Number 2, charge the Roma and District Family History Society Incorporated no hire fees for the term of this agreement. And 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to sign the agreement.
Second to Councillor Guthrie. Any opposition? I've just got a quick question. Did we have an agreement? We had an agreement with them before, didn't we?
Yes, through the chair, we have
Yeah.
had an agreement with them before, so these agreements are coming due, so
To
we're
renew
renewing
them.
them.
That's all right, thank you. Anyone got any questions or anyone want to speak for or against?
I'll just say,
All
I'll
right.
just say, this is the least we can do, considering all the work that they do. Take my hat off to them for doing, for doing that. So, fully supportive of it.
No other questions or any speakers? All those in favour? 8-0. Page 181. item 14.5, subject heading Schedule of Fees, Permit to Occupy and Trustee Lease Grazing. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Guthrie.
I'd like to move that council amend the 2023-24 fees and charges schedule to include 2 new fees to graze council-managed state land under a trustee permit or a trustee lease. 1. Application fee, $314.71 GST free. Per title reference, application fees are non-refundable. And 2. Annual fee, estimated stocking rate multiplied by or times $4.40 per head per week, with a minimum rental of $300 per annum plus GST.
Second, Councillor Ladbroke.
I have a question.
Councillor Hancock, question?
Do we, so previously, when people applied, they applied through council, but we just took the charge and then they went on to the state?
Through you.
Chair, what would happen was the state was issuing permits to occupy for grazing over stock routes.
Directly?
Directly. And the state would come to council and say, do you want to give them a trustee permit or do you want us to deal with it for a permit to occupy? Council would respond permit to occupy, council would give its thoughts, the state would look after it. Now there's been a bit of a change in how the state administers these type of things. And the state is now putting it back onto council to issue those permits. So council will be issuing them, but we'll be talking to the state and getting the state stock routes area's thoughts on the application.
Councillor Taylor's next.
Can I just ask, so do we keep the money?
Yes.
Just asking, yeah.
Councillor Edwards, you had a question?
Yes, through you, Chair. Tanya, the annual fee there, that's $4.40. Do we have to put exclusive or inclusive there? It'd be inclusive, wouldn't it? $4.40.
GST free, I would imagine. Well, the top one's GST free. I'm only guessing that.
Oh, okay. Annual fee, yeah, okay.
Yes, from my understanding, there's different types of fees that council can, and regulatory fees and
Some are
non-regulatory.
some are different.
GST is applied differently.
Yeah, so the $4.40 is free.
GST, right. Yeah,
Well, the
we've got
next
that
one
there.
says a minimum rental plus GST, you see.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bit confusing.
440 might probably be including, would it?
No, it's ex-GST.
So the other one's inclusive, but
That
that's...
doesn't make sense.
No,
It's talking about $4.40 per head per week.
it looks like it's inclusive.
$4.40 a week would include the GST, but if they didn't hit the minimum
You charge
rental.
$300.
That's what I'm.
That's what I figured. 440 is including GST.
So it needs clarifying, or we're right
Yeah,
with
I
that?
think that's right.
Do we need to clarify that in the resolution, do you think?
I think it's there.
Yeah. Okay, all good. And
Can I just ask, just for consistency, wouldn't we be better off saying a minimum rental of $330 per annum, including GST? So you've got the consistency of
just to
including
be-
GST. I'm just to clarify it.
Yeah.
But it's ex-GST.
but you
plus
put
GST means
but you put 330 in.
You're
Yeah,
including
sure.
GST.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to keep the consistency, otherwise you're shopping around, it's all over.
Don't
And I
know.
moved it, so I'm happy to just clarify.
So
that,
we've
make it
changed that to-
330.
Including GST, Cal.
Did anyone second that?
No, that's right.
So
So you're right, Cal,
You just have to change
330 though?
300 to
With a
330.
minimum
Yeah,
rental of
$330 because it's inclusive of
$330
GST
per
now,
annum,
Kelly.
including
That's
GST.
good. Thanks, Cal. Any other questions or anything?
Beautiful.
And as someone just asked about who keeps the money, I think this is all about the whole new
Administrative changes.
administrative charges from the stock routes thing that they throw everything at council.
Yeah, so those fees and charges will be retained by council with a view of investing it back into stock routes and
Yeah,
covering.
I wonder how long before they say we've got to do all the maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay, is anyone else?
The inherent, yeah.
Okay, no one else wants to speak? All those in favour? 7-0. Item 14.6, page 188. Roma sale yards, rail loading and unloading infrastructure.
I think there's someone with a conflict.
Oh, sorry, conflict. Councillor Hancock's got a conflict.
I would like to declare a conflict of interest. Item 14.6, description Roma sale yards, rail loading and unloading infrastructure. Declaring councillor as Councillor Joanne Hancock, person with interest and related parties GL and JM Hancock and H5H Transport Trust, my husband and myself. Nicholas Hancock and Stephanie Griffiths, son and partner, Peter and Karen Hancock, brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Particulars of interest, all parties above whom I have a close association with own and operate heavy vehicles and load cattle at the Roma sale yards. Type of conflict is declarable conflict of interest, and action is I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Councillor Burkett.
I'll move it then.
No other conflicts, sorry? Okay, just.
Go.
Councillor Hancock's just leaving the room. Councillor Burkett, you ready to move?
Yeah, I'd like to move that Council 1 purchase the loading infrastructure located within the rail corridor at the Roma sale yards from Queensland Rail for a negotiated price of $1. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to sign all documentation relating to this acquisition.
Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Anyone wish to speak?
Quick question.
Good question.
The little diagram we've got here, it's just that little bit in red, is that correct?
That's right.
For
It's only
$1?
tiny.
Yep.
Pretty good sale, eh?
Yeah, good.
I've got a question for the director. Daniel, what happens to the rest of the yards?
So my understanding is we'll work through a process to take ownership of the rest of the yards. That's located on the stock route, so we'll be actively looking to bring that back up to operational standard.
Because that's not rail corridor, that's road corridor, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So effectively, we're buying the loading ramp for $1.
We're buying that small
Well, a
parcel
small
of land
parcel,
to
but-
allow us to
Yeah.
utilise the rest of the yards.
But we don't actually own the yards then?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the issue has been that loading ramp's been tied up with the previous contractor that had the cattle contract. Correct me if I'm wrong, and the new people haven't been able to use it. So this is, I think I'm on the right track. By council purchasing the ramp, anyone can use it.
Yeah, look, through the chair, the loading, the ramp is the restricting factor. It
That's
was
right, yeah.
always the constraint. Anybody could lease or own those yards,
Yes.
including council, but no one could load unless
That's
they
it,
owned the ramp, and there were agreements in place in relation to that,
Any-
which is expensive.
Anyone else got questions or wants to? Okay. You got nothing you want to say? No, we're all good?
I just got a question. This is to the gentleman that come in about shifting the cattle by train.
Yeah.
Spelling the cattle?
Yeah, or by train. This is a process of that. So we'll keep moving with that, or is that a different item?
My understanding, and I'll stand correcting, by council purchasing the ramp, no, Queensland Rail can't tie anyone else up on that.
Yeah. So through the chair, Watco has no interest in the ramp. However, cattle would need to traffic from the yards across the ramp into the train.
Yes.
Watco worry about the train, above ground rail services in relation to the train, but the state owned the ramp and didn't activate the ramp. So by owning the ramp, we can activate the ramp, but we do need to have functioning yards attached to that, so that's got to come
But
back
this,
to you.
I think when it all came to head, Horizon owned the ramp.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And that's
And no one could access that ramp without actually having either a permission or a leasing a fee arrangement with.
So if there's no other questions, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0. Could someone get Councillor Hancock back, please?
That's your job if you're on the end.
Thanks.
I don't remember that. It's not my agreement.
It's the seat, it's the seat of the.
The
I
jobs
think
come
there's
with
a
that.
declaration in this one too.
In this,
I didn't sign off on that one, did
I'll sign.
Yeah.
I'll read it out. Item 14.7, subject McDonald's sign in Bassett Park. Do we have any conflicts, or do we have a conflict?
Councillor Edwards,
Sorry?
for this item, I think, did you send something through to us this morning?
George, have you got?
Yes, no?
McDonald's sign.
He doesn't.
Wasn't
Oh,
that
sorry. No, it wasn't this one.
Okay.
Apologies.
Councillor O'Neill, you ready to move?
I'll move that Council 1 enter a signage licence agreement with the licensee of McDonald's Roma in respect to the promotional sign at Bassett Park, Roma, and 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to sign the agreement.
Councillor Taylor seconding. Any opposition to the motion? Anyone wish to speak? All those in favour? 8-0.
Awesome.
Next one,
197.
197.
Before 11 will be good.
On page 197, item 17.1, restoration of headstones for military servicemen and women. Councillor Guthrie,
I'd like to move that a report be prepared for an upcoming council meeting.
have a seconder, please. Councillor Burkett. Any opposition? Anyone question?
Can I talk to it? Can I?
Yes,
Yeah.
If I-
that'd be good.
Question for, right.
With the investigating the potential funding options, will we also investigate the legalities about being able to do that? I'm for it, but I just
Yeah.
know that there is legalities around touching anyone's head.
You have to have,
grave
I think you have to have family permission.
You
Yeah.
do.
So I just wonder if we need to just include the investigating of funding and legalities, because
You want to speak, Councillor Guthrie?
I'm happy to put that. I'm very confident that that's already been covered. I will just give a context. There was a recent, there was a funeral, a graveside funeral held in Injune a couple of weeks ago, and whilst people were waiting for the service to begin, it is very, very clear that the water is having a major impact on some of the headstones. And some of the people who were there are actually those that have been maintaining their family headstones. And the conversation was about how disappointing it was when effort is put in that they're really not being sustained long term. And I know there's been previous conversations that that there is funding available, and I won't specify where it's coming from, but it's actually there is money available for this to be done. It's just a matter of now getting the report written and information regarding to the criteria and the timeframes for the application for the monies.
So would you think you need to add something for a condition of the report?
I don't think I do, because with the particular grant that the intention is that we source, it's very clear as to who takes carriage for it, and then the money that's actually tagged for this particular purpose. I don't think it's needed.
Anyone
to
else
be honest.
want to speak for or against, or any other questions?
I've got, just in light of the questioning, could it be strengthened by just saying that a report be prepared at an upcoming council meeting, including the funding options, approvals for the restoration, and any approaches for the restoration and any approvals required?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I'm happy to change it, because I am very, very confident that there is money, there's sources available for this to be undertaken.
No, it was more the point that Councillor Hancock raised, because you do have to get approvals by the family, if you can, to touch the gravestone.
I think I'm reading between the lines, I think what Councillor Guthrie's saying, we shouldn't want to name the people that will do it, we'll do that, because
It's very clear in the...
Around the region or just for Injune is my question, because this is around the region, which I think is fantastic, but that's my query, is it's actually not just for Injune, it's around the region, so we might need some.
I opened this up, and I just gave the context that it was actually, which is where it derived from, and I've made it wider, that it's not just Injune, but Injune was where it's initiated from, and I think that this would be no different to other cemeteries. The only real acute part here is the actual effect of the water on the graves up there.
That's it.
And when you look at other graves, ours are constructed a certain way that are not common across the region. So this is for all, I would think, for all in all of the cemeteries.
Won't hurt to add that, will it?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. I think it's
so Councillor Guthrie moved it, you happy with that?
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Councillor Burgett, you seconded, you happy? Okay, anyone against the motion? Anyone want to speak? Councillor Guthrie?
I think we've said enough, but I just do think it's about paying tribute to military service men and women, and making sure that then their last resting place is actually appropriate and well maintained.
Anyone else got questions or want to speak? Councillor
I
Burgett?
think it's a great idea. I'd like to think RSL would help out a bit in any information needed, or if there's people that have got no longer family in that area or no family at all, that they might be able to help out in that respect. But I think it's a great initiative.
So with that, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Page 198. Item 17.2, subject heading Quinton Street Stormwater Upgrade, section between McDowell and Bowen Streets, Roma. I'd like to move that a report be prepared for a future council meeting outlining estimates and timelines to upgrade the underground stormwater line from McDowell Street to the new development currently under construction on Quinton Street. Any, councillor Taylor, seconder? Any opposition or anyone wish to speak? I'll speak first. I had a fairly good discussion with the developer about 10 days ago. They're going ahead in leaps and, well, it'll start leaps and bounds shortly. Before Christmas, they hope to have they will have all the walls, what do they call them, tilt panels stood. Then the next process will be to put all the guttering, the guttering and downpipes out to the road, because he doesn't want to put the roof on without the guttering, because if we get a shower rain, it will run over into the neighbours. So he's going to do that. So he's needing to do that, and I suppose council will have to work out levels and that. Also in the discussion he raised, under the development application, they have to compensate or repair the gutter to a certain amount of, I don't know how much, but there's crossovers that are there have to be replaced, and he has to put new crossovers in. So he's also wanting to talk to council about a joint approach to replace the gutter from one end to the other while they're at the go. So, Councillor Edwards?
Yeah, just comment-wise, when you drive past there, you can see the levels. But this initiative here you've got basically will help control the water around that area. That's
currently, councillor, there is no underground service there.
Yeah.
So all the water has to go onto the gutter and go down the gutters.
Yeah.
And if we get it underground somewhere outside those new because for fearful of gutter overflowing into the other business that's lower, it's down lower. So I'm pretty confident that the Deputy Director, if we approve this today, we'll go ahead and get everything sorted, that's required through there.
Good. Yeah.
And any other questions or? Okay. Well, if no, we'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Good spot to adjourn.
Yeah.
We'll adjourn. The guests are here. We'll adjourn. Our guests have arrived.
So we're going to go back to 13.2.
65.
Thank you. Page 65. Flying Fox Management Plan. Do we have questions, councillors? Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, thanks, Chair, to the Director Matt. Just in relation to the application process, in the report it's got it opens on the 7th of August, it closes on the 8th of September. What do we actually need to put into our application? Is it the framework? And if it is the framework, should we be specifying specific locations as to what we're going to do in terms of moving the Flying Foxes on?
Yeah, so Councillor O'Neill, we do have the options analysis there of the locations we'd like to move the Flying Foxes to. So there's 5 locations, considering also that you could also keep them at location 1 on the Weir, but there's 4 other locations that are offered there for the community, for broader community consultation.
But if we go into the application to the department, should we not be indicating what is the preference rather than having it wide that they make a decision which may not be in line with what council and the community are thinking?
Yeah, correct, Councillor. And through the chair, it's the office's recommendation that we, and probably through range as well, that we go with options 2 and 3 downstream of the Weir.
So given the tight timeframe, would it not be best then to have in the resolution that we give in principle support to options 2 and 3, recognising that we're still going to go out to consultation? Must be very quick consultation.
Yeah, that's for council's decision.
But Councillor O'Neill, I think we could apply because it's all the documents in there and we're looking for funding, but then we would go out to community consultation. So I think we can apply for the money and then come back and go, oh, we got the money, right, move on to the next step, or if you want to do it concurrently, we could, but to me, it's just applying for this round.
But I'm just trying to understand, Mayor, if we go in with 5 options to the department, are they going to then tell us that they're happy with doing what option 5 says and moving where what the director's just said, the officer's recommendation is to go with 2 and 3. If that's the support here, then we should be specifying what the sites are.
But noting in one that we will go to community consultation because we've got to make sure we get it right. But I think the plan is about having a plan and can we fund the plan?
But it's about giving in principle support
Yeah,
to
in principle.
particular options
Yep.
rather than the broad.
Yep. Councillor Hancock,
I'm happy to move, Mr Mayor.
please go ahead.
I move that Council 1 provide in-principle support of FFRMP, options 2 and 3, site options 2 and 3. Proceed to round 6 for the implementation and ensure community consultations carried out concurrently. And 2, endorse the allocation of $20,000 ex-GST from Roma, $5,000 ex-GST from Burtons, $5,000 ex-GST from no, that's not right. Endorse the allocation of $20,000 ex-GST from Roma, $5,000, Burtons, $5,000, and Waroo, $10,000. Operational budgets 23-24 to carry out ongoing monitoring of the roost for the upcoming flying fox season.
Okay, we have a second, and councillor O'Neill.
Can I
Just change,
spell out what FFRMP is, please?
and also
Flying
Regional
Fox,
Management
re-
Plan.
change K to thousands, like no one knows what K means.
Yeah.
I think it's
Flying Fox Route Management Plan.
Yeah, thanks, Cal.
Councillor Hancock, are you happy to make it 5,000 instead
I
of
said
K?
5,000, yeah.
So all of them to thousands.
Principal support of flying fox risk management plan, site options 2 and 3. Yep, that's good.
Is the
Happy to
seconder
move that.
happy with that change?
Thank you.
Okay, does the move wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just want to acknowledge that the flying fox problem has been an issue in Surat for many years, but also acknowledging that this also incorporates Roma and Mitchell as well. It's not just for Surat. So it has been a huge problem in Surat, being right over our water source, and does affect our community badly. I'm happy to give in principle support to this management plan. Excited that we're going to go for some funding, and I hope to see the success of that so we can finally do something proactive to try and move the flying foxes away from our water source and hopefully a bit further down the river away from our township. Thank you to Director Matt and
Cara.
for all the work that they've done with coming up with this, and I just really look forward to having a proactive plan to go to the community with, acknowledging that it's not just about moving the flying foxes, that we also need to talk about how we can get them to stay out of our township area. So I'm very excited to support this today.
Does anyone else wish to speak to the motion? I'll speak. Certainly be supporting this. I believe that the community needs to be protected at Surat. I think they've had to live through something that other towns have not had to live through at the same scale. And I believe if this doesn't work, we need to find other ways of making sure that they're not a issue for health for people that are living in Surat. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak. I know this has been an issue that the community of Surat have had to deal with for a number of years now. I want to recognise that there has been efforts undertaken over a number of years to try and address this. Unfortunately, they just haven't been successful. I know Councillor Hancock, when she was before she was a councillor as the local development officer, in her role with council, was leading the charge. because her community were telling her that we needed to deal with this particular issue. And so I hope this is a step in the right direction. People should come before these animals. It is impacting on the livability of that community over the period in which these flying foxes are roosting so close to the township. So I hope the government back this. I hope we get the financial support to be able to try and move them on, and fingers crossed that it is a success. But thanks to the staff, Matt, Cara for the work, and obviously engaging some experts in this field to try and get it right. So let's hope that it's a successful outcome, and the community can see that we are again trying to address what is for a few months of the year a major impact on the Surat community.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Does the mover wish to sum up? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Director.
you. Okay, Councillor Parks. Please go ahead.
I'd like to declare a conflict on C2, Engine Caravan Park Management. The declaring councillor is Councillor Wendy Taylor, the related party is myself. Particulars of interest on the treasurer of the Roma Play Target Club who has a caravan park. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Any other conflicts? Okay, do we have someone to move into closed?
I'll move we go into close.
Oh, wait a minute,
Councillor Edwards first.
sorry, I've got to do it. Yeah, I've got a
Righto,
conflict.
please go ahead.
Declaration of interest, item C6, description, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Pool Redevelopment Project, 3 to 5 Feather Street. Declaring councillor Mark Edwards. Person with the interest, related party, close associate, other relationship, myself and Leichhardt Group. Particulars of interest, I'm a director of the Leichhardt Group. I and the Leichhardt Group have a professional relationship with a person named in the report. Can't be revealed for professional reasons. The person and interested persons named may benefit. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest, and action will be leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Okay, any other conflicts? Okay, do we have someone to move into closed?
Go into close, Mr. Mayor.
Please go ahead.
Is it in accordance with the provisions of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the council resolved to close the meeting to the public at whatever time it is.
12:20.
12:20, to discuss confidential items that as councillors consider as necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed, an overview of what's to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1, update Roma Waste Facility Weybridge options. C2, Engine Caravan Park Management. C3, tender to lease council-owned land, lot 4, 10 and 411 on Y2211. C4, request for extension on payment arrangement 14012-181. C5, local roads and community infrastructure program phase 4. C6, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Pool Redevelopment Projects 3 to 5 Feather Street. C7, resident contribution proposal Schefe Road, Roma. C8, flood damage event 13 program update. C9, sale of land overdue rates. LC1, Lake Neverfill assessment. Happy to go do it again if you missed anything there.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hancock. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? I'm going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, we're on close.
Yep. Now, did you want
C1.
yeah, which is the Roma Weybridge?
C1, update Roma Waste Facility Weybridge operations. I'd like to move that council 1, receive and note the report. 2, acknowledge and reconfirm resolution OM/10.2022/28 and go out for EOI immediately. 3, extend the current contract for Roma security at the agreed rates until the EOI is decided.
You don't need to put the hourly rate, we have confirmed that with them in writing. I just put that there for council's benefit.
Righto.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think better to have it like that. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it, Mr Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Ladbrook then.
I'm happy.
Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Need a statement.
Through the chair, would you mind, sorry to in retrospect, it might be more accurate for number 3 to extend the current contract tool, get rid of the word for, Roma Security, just because they're not under a contract, they are paid contract rates, if that makes sense. Extend the current contract tool.
This is a closed report,
Yep.
Councillor
And then
Taylor.
that's just accurate, because they don't have a contract, they're labour hire, if that makes sense.
So you want to change the wording?
So extend the current contractor, Roma Security, makes it
Contractor.
makes it accurate rather than contract.
Yeah, so let's do that. Is the mover and the seconder, we haven't moved on yet.
Hey, once you've voted,
Sorry about that.
you're just clarifying it, aren't you?
Yeah,
It just-
and we
just
haven't
for
moved
legal
on,
clarity.
so.
No, that's good.
Okay, is the seconder happy with
Yes.
that difference?
Oh, I didn't second it.
Councillor Ladbrook?
Thank you. There you go, Elsa.
Okay, so it's contractor, even though it's in blue. And we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour?
We've already voted.
Well, we have.
So you just clarify.
Double check to clarify. We have clarified before. So is anyone against? So it's 9-0. Okay.
We do need to do a statement of reason.
Oh, yeah. I would believe that believe the important reason of having a permanent solution to the permanent solution for this
Management of the weighbridge.
management of the weighbridge. Permanent solution
Mr Mayor, it wouldn't be permanent, because we're going to review it down the, continuation.
What I mean is, we would have a lot, like whoever gets it would actually have a, like, long-term arrangement. So that's what I meant by permanent, as in you've got a 3-year lease or you've got a
No, this is not a
term.
permanent lease.
No, but we're moving towards getting that to happen, if you know what I
So
mean.
they've still got that job
The
until that happens.
importance for
Read, I would
procuring.
assume what you're trying to say. It is important to council to explore a permanent solution for the management of the weighbridge.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds.
Okay, it's important to council to explore a permanent solution of the management of the weighbridge. Yeah, meaning that we get something locked in.
Mr Mayor, we didn't want to put the dollar value in there?
No, I don't think so.
A bit late now.
I mean, it was on the-
Just through the chair, we have actually confirmed the hourly rate with the contractor as recently as August the 23rd.
Okay, all good.
Okay, moving on. C2.
I'm leaving the room, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. C2, in-June Caravan Park Management. Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move, better read off the board. Council accept the offer from Veronica Pringle to manage the Indian Caravan Park for the term of 3 years for the quoted price of $60,000 per annum, including GST. 2, allocate the required funds in the first quarter budget review. 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to sign the management agreement. We didn't have any extras, did we, Kel? Thank you.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Guthrie?
Ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
CEO, when is the quarter review?
It's due the 30th of September, so it'll be in the month of October, usually the last meeting in October.
When does the current arrangement at the caravan park cease?
I think at the last meeting, we put a 6-week period on that from the last meeting. So what was that? Yeah, the date.
The minutes of today, we approved.
It's that 6 weeks from, what is it?
In the minutes,
It's
isn't
in
it?
the minutes of the meeting we approved today.
To the 20th. So you're looking at 6 weeks from the 20th of August is when the current. Excuse me,
Director's heard it, he's come in the back door to tell us.
18th
18th
of
of
September. Thank
September.
you.
I just have another question.
And so then the new person wouldn't start until after that. This resolution, we're not allocating the money to do the contract until the
Other one expires.
After it starts.
so I just wonder if we should have a start date in here
Yeah, I think
and put
improve it.
subject to the allocation of required funds in the first quarter budget review. Because again, we're agreeing to do something without it actually having a budget attached.
Yep.
We're foreshadowing it, and that's fine. But if we have a date of that is after the budget review, then we can deal with that then.
Just through the chair, what I would probably say, I understand the councillor's comments, is you could change the second point to endorse the funds, and we just need to get you a general ledger. But, there's an existing general ledger, endorse the increase in funds in relation to that. But through the chair, Director, there is a date that we do need them to start as soon as possible, don't we?
Yeah, ideally, we can manage a short intermediate term, but yeah, sooner the better, obviously.
So the others are finished 16th of September?
18th of September.
18th of September.
Councillor Ladbrook.
Yeah, Director Lee, I was just wondering, is there sufficient signs, in and out of, the northern and southern end of Injune for the caravan park? Like to help, build up the business, because you want to have it good, and you want to have them in town, to buy things and go to the pub.
Yeah, there is, the standard blue signage, whatnot, but that's part of what hopefully this management agreement will provide is better profile for the park, a better online presence.
It needs that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the online presence is a big one now for the travelling community.
because it's,
So what do we change? Endorse?
risk too, and you want it to be a good business,
So
and
we
it'll
change.
help.
Well, excuse me, we've got people here that would like to speak. Who was first?
18th is a Monday.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay.
The 18th is a Monday.
Answer from the queries
Yes.
around the GL. So
Yes.
we've got a GL, have we?
You would have already a management fee for the Injune Caravan Park, wouldn't you?
I would have to check that because it's traditionally been a revenue in.
Yeah, righto.
So I just wonder, can we put a date in
Yeah,
of where
certainly.
it starts?
And the 18th is the Monday, and so.
That's correct. So
Monday? Sorry,
if you wanted to create a date which was after the quarterly review, I would say probably that 1st is November without looking at a calendar. But
October,
I can
November.
sort of, say,
when
yeah,
would
we'd
that
be doing
report come in?
I don't know.
But then we can't manage that because
Yeah,
that
it
starts.
just
So therefore,
seems to be
we do need GL.
But we have to allocate the money into the GL. Yeah.
So why don't you just
First
put it
November's
as the
Wednesday.
queue and then sort it out, and Lisa made a decision where you're heading.
So,
We don't know where we're getting the money from.
No, but you can in the quarter review.
We can include that now in the preparation to the quarterly review. It's just that if you wanted to have an effective start date, it would have to be on or after the 25th of October.
It's far, I know. I get that.
Yeah.
25th the council meeting day, Wednesday, the 25th.
But what I mean is make your decision and the staff will work it in the back end when it starts and so forth, so.
Well, my biggest issue is not about that, it's about we're making a decision to spend money that we actually haven't worked out where it's coming from.
And we haven't, it's not allocated in the budget.
And we're paying for it before our review.
Yeah, but
So-
we have enough cash that we know that we can cover that that expenditure, which means we're not doing anything like insolvent or whatever you want to call it, but you can ask for it to be tidied up at the what is it, the Q1 review
Yep.
or whatever. Well, it's not even that yet, is it? What
It would be Q1.
So is there a direct, before
The
we took
quickest
the
way
money
is
out of
to
the
endorse the
director's
budget, but you
operational
just need a
budget,
general budget.
can we take it from there
In the short term.
in the short term? So we've got a GL.
Yeah, absolutely. From my perspective, we just work within the realms of what council set us. So, yeah, if you wanted to use that as a GL.
Yeah, and then
Or
tidy it up
just
at the
to,
quarter
just so we
review.
have somewhere
Yeah.
to be able to say we've got something to pay them out of?
Absolutely,
Do you
yeah.
know what that is, Lee?
No, I don't, but could we just,
The general ledger for,
Well,
you can get, I'm just.
for lease, is it leases and agreements?
You're talking about the
No,
general
That's a
ledger
different
for
one,
the-
yeah, the one-
Bungil operating
I'm
area.
just talking
Bungil
about
one
the
would-
Bungil that we took out for the Flying Fox
Yeah.
Roost.
Well, yeah, could we just word the resolution to say the Bungil, the adopt operating budget or?
Yeah, don't wait, just allocate.
Yeah. The Bungil operating budget.
And Lee, can you confirm, I imagine the answer's yet, but can you confirm that there is $60,000
Yes.
in the Bungil operating
Yep.
budget?
Yes, and specifically in the materials and services
Yeah.
line item, there's,
Okay,
sufficient
I'll
funds.
start again, Mr
Thank
Mayor.
you. Thanks.
Righto.
Council one, accept the offer from Veronica Pringle to manage the Indian Caravan Park for the term of 3 years for the quoted price of $60,000 per annum, including GST. Well, we won't need that after 25th of October now, will we?
No, just what it said.
2, endorse the increase increase in required funds and draw them from the Bungil operating budget. 3, authorise the chief executive officer to sign the management agreement.
We need to put, we need to put in about the, something about the first quarter budget review and review
Okay.
at. So we need in required funds, draw them from the Bungil operating budget and review,
And to be reviewed at the,
to be
Well,
reviewed
just
at the quarter
incorporate as
review.
part of the quarter one budget review, because you're endorsing it. So you're just saying, we expect the accounts to be adjusted by the time we see the quarter one review.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then it'll happen.
Endorse the increase in required funds and draw them from the Bungil operating budget to be incorporated in the quarter one budget review.
And
3, authorise the chief executive officer to sign the management agreement.
Okay.
That really doesn't make sense to me, but anyway,
or execute any relevant documents
we're
necessary.
drawing the money from the budget, Bungil operating budget.
But
And
then
it'll
we'll
get
review
paid
it at
back.
the quarter
It'll
And
get
if,
paid back.
If Cindy works her magic, she'll probably give me that GL. Oh,
Happy
she's
to
late.
second it.
Yeah,
Okay.
happy to second that?
Guthrie's
I've already seconded.
seconded
Oh,
it.
sorry, okay.
Oh, that's right. Top bit's hiding, so. Okay, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
doesn't make sense.
Just draw it from the Bungil operating budget.
And to be further reviewed as part of the quarter one budget review. And the financial allocation be further reviewed. You're endorsing it,
Yeah,
but you are saying we are going to,
Review it as
But anyway,
well.
it doesn't matter, whichever way we do it,
Endorse
it'll,
the increase in
whatever you'd
required
like.
funds.
Is the mover happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy, Mr Mayor.
And the second is happy? We're happy. Right,
think
who would
this-
like to speak to it?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I think this is will be a great improvement to the operation of our caravan park in Indian. I'm sure Veronica will do a wonderful job, especially there's times when she'll be over the road running the swimming pool, so it'll make it so convenient for any proposed or prospective tenants, not tenants, but customers. They can just pull up, and if she's not at the caravan park, she'll be over the road, grab the keys or whatever. So I think it'll be a really good improvement to the caravan park, the running of the caravan park.
Okay, do we have anyone else that wishes to speak to the motion? I'll speak to the motion. I'm going to support this. I do believe we could do it another way. I do think it's a considerable amount of money. It's a big change. I do think Veronica will do a fantastic job. But I do believe that we could do it another way, which would be more cost effective. But I realise that Veronica would do a great job. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Does the mover wish to sum up?
Mr Mayor, I'd just like to add, I disagree with your comments. I'm not being personal, but council will not be able to do it for that price. The cost to council will be far, I believe, quite considerably more to that by the time we pay our own staff to do everything and look after the show and run and mow the lawns, upkeep the upgrades, and even nothing against the staff, but to be there at all hours of the day or on call would definitely send the bill up, I believe, with the cost sum.
Okay, we're going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 8-0, sorry.
Councillor Lee's heading out anyway. Just to save Mark's legs. That's what's part of your job, sitting there, you know.
I don't know, I think I do it more than this fella.
Yeah, C3, tender to lease council-owned land, lot 410 and 411 on Y2211. Councillor Burkett.
I move this lay on the table until a future ordinary meeting.
All those in favour?
Do you need a seconder?
No.
Oh,
Just laying it on the
Sorry.
table. Okay, 9-0.
So page 51. Oh, no.
42.
Sorry, apologies.
C4, request for extension on payment arrangement. Do we have a mover? Councillor Taylor.
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve the extension to the proposed payment arrangement. 2, advise the ratepayer that if a payment is missed, this arrangement will be automatically cancelled and the debt recovery process will recommence. 3, advise the ratepayer that all future rates and charges are not included in this payment arrangement and are to be payable on or before the due date.
I'll second that.
We have a seconder, Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Page 51.
C5, Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program Phase 4. Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 nominate Calico Cottage Precinct Project to be submitted to the Australian Government for approval under Part A, Phase 4 of the Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to prepare and sign the relevant project nomination documentation to nominate the selected projects. 3, be presented with a subsequent officer's report regarding project nominations for Part B, Phase 4 of the Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program. And 4, continue to investigate procurement options to deliver Calico Cottage Precinct Project.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Taylor. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just thank you to the Deputy Director for bringing this forward today. It's always exciting when we get some external money that we can put forward to projects, and I just would really look forward to being able to deliver the Calico Cottage Precinct Project, which has been a long-term community request for many, many years to the Wallumbilla community. So hopefully we'll be successful.
Okay, I'll speak against the motion. Certainly won't be supporting this for the reasons that I believe we are making decisions for the next council. I think there's time to do the groundwork now and have all the options open. This is not to be decided the deadline date is halfway through next year. I do believe that the new council should make the decision. If we're not delivering it in this term, I don't think we should make the decision, but we could do the groundwork. I also believe this takes money away from upgrading parks. I get a lot of feedback about we need to do more livability and beautification. I believe this money could go towards this. We have not delivered on the hub at Mitchell. I certainly think that I'm fully supportive of delivering the Calico cottage project, but I don't think that we should use all of our discretionary money in delivering this when we really should work with local builders, sharpen our pencils and actually deliver it anyway without taking the future money from discretionary money from councils, the next council, whoever they are. And so I certainly won't be supporting doing this. And I believe that it doesn't pass the value for money test, and it just shuts down all other options for our other communities, and as far as upgrading parks and taking them to the next level, which benefits all of our residents. Okay, does anyone wish to speak for the motion? Councillor Taylor.
I am going to support this. As Councillor Hancock said, this is a great thing for the Wallumbilla community, and they've waited a long time, and the money that we're putting towards this has not come out of ratepayers' money, and we do have other money and other sources that we can put towards parks and gardens in the future. So and we might not deliver it in this term, but at least we've got the wheels turning for it. So I'm more than happy to support this today.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak. I'm going to support this, and I'm supporting it because I think the allocation towards the Calico Cottages, the project under this particular bucket of funds from the Commonwealth Government, is an important one, because it will go a long way, I hope, to achieving what has been a project that has been on the community's mind and vision and platform for the Wallumbilla community for at least the time that I've been on council. I can remember former councillor Ree Price, who was heavily involved with the Calico Cottage. She was the one that was driving that in my first term, and then Councillor Putty Chan, the last term, was the one that was advocating for it as well. I think we've got to do it. The Wallumbilla community have been through extensive consultations. In fact, I think it's 2 rounds of consultation in the last 5.5 years to achieve the vision. And as has already been articulated by other councillors, and the only argument against this that has been shared in the chamber is that it's competing with other priorities of council. Well, that's always going to exist. There is no denying that investment into our parks and gardens are important. It adds to the livability of our region. There are funding opportunities right now that we could be exploring to achieve just that. This phase 4 of the local roads and community infrastructure program, the Mayor's right, the decision doesn't have to be made today. Could in fact be made by the next council. But I can only speak for myself. I was elected to fulfil the full term of 2020 to 2024. And that means making decisions now that are going to benefit our community. This round, whilst it could be made in the first couple of months of the next term, the decision as to what the allocation is, the project has to be delivered, unless an extension is granted, by the 30th of June 2025. That's in the report. I've just reviewed that for those that can see it on page 57. That's important to understand what the timeframes are and being able to deliver this. This is just one element of the allocation. There is another section to this particular local roads and community infrastructure program that is going to come back for further discussion if this resolution gets up at a future council meeting. But I just think it's time that these big ticket items that council has been working with the community for considerable years can come to fruition. So I strongly support this. I support us putting it forward for consideration by the Australian government, and I hope they sign off on it.
Okay, does someone wish to speak for the motion or against the motion?
I'll be against.
Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, I'll be voting against it. But as I mentioned, you know, it's a difficult one, but I'm not actually against the Calico Cottage at all. I think it's a great development and should go ahead, but I tend to agree with the mayor in that you know, we shouldn't be leaving things at the end of this term for other councils, you know, whatever the next council are going to be, to make decisions on this. It has happened in the past, and it's not really something that I wish to put upon anyone. So I'm happy to leave it alone. But the thing was, in the resolution, it says at number 4, I would have been very interested in that, and that is to get you know, more work to be done on costings and sort of shore them up a bit more. You know, it won't take too long, and we'll still get it done before the deadline. So that's one of the reasons. Well, there are a couple of reasons there, but as I said, I'm not against it totally, but just for the far as this resolution is concerned, certainly against it. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I was on the fence with this to start with. I do, and I know you guys agree with the project, but the timing. But I'm going to vote support this because, well, main reason is the longer we leave it, the dearer it's going to cost us. The prices are rising, and we've got no control over that. And having gone through I don't want to bring the big rig thing up, but it was hard for us coming in with a project swinging. So this way we'll tick it off, and not one because the community been, you know, it's overdue, but 2, it's clear then moving on. I do get that, you know, we're taking some funds that, you know, could be used or earmarked for the next term, but I've got faith in the deputy director to do all that negotiations and tick all the boxes and get it to happen. Although I would like more time in that situation to get it through, I think getting it underway and saving that money with the price rise, I think, is a key thing.
Okay. Does anyone else wish to speak? Does the move wish to sum up?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. We've had extensive briefings over this term of council about the Calico Cottage, and even today we've had a fair session in this enclosed discussing this project and the funding opportunities. And our Deputy Director assured us today that he is committed to being able to bring this project to the community with the best value for money. And I have all faith in the Deputy Director who is heading up this project to do his due diligence, to be able to provide this project to the Wallumbilla community with value for money in the economic environment that he's working in today. So I actually support this because I think that this is important for the Wallumbilla community. We actually have co-funding already, external funding that is already on the table, waiting for the opportunity to get other external funding to be able to see this project come forward. And so I think that this is absolutely fits in with that criteria, and we should be using this opportunity to move this project forward while we have that opportunity. There is different buckets of money that is available to be able to do other livability projects such as gardens around the community. This one fits this project perfectly. I actually don't believe that we're taking money from a future council. You know, council elections is on the 16th of March 2024, and until that date, myself, we're elected to sit at this table and make decisions for this council, for our community. I'm not going to stop making decisions for my community for next council. It's about now. This project has been on the books for many, many years. I think, why don't we get the funding that matches the project so that the next council can, it's already done, there's not a decision to be made. The community has told us that they want this project. We've had extensive community consultation with the Wallumbilla community. They want this. We're not taking money from future council. We're seeing through a project that this Wallumbilla community have already asked us to do. We're actually doing our job on behalf of the Wallumbilla community by putting this project up. And so therefore, I support this 100%.
Okay, we're going to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? 7-2 if I can call for a division. C6, Roma Denise Spencer Memorial Pool redevelopment project, 3 to 5 Feather Street. Councillor Edwards has just left the room. Do we have a mover? Councillor Burkett.
There's nothing, no change from this, is there?
I don't think so.
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve an extension of the current tenancy agreement for 3-5 Feather Street to the 31st of January 2024. 2, provide in-principle support for option 3 as set out in the officer's report and take responsibility for the relocation of the house located at 3-5 Feather Street, Roma, to a council-owned vacant land on Corf Road, Roma. 3, be presented with a report at a future ordinary meeting outlining an estimated cost of the proposed relocation and the re-establishment of the property for occupancy and sale.
Second to Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak?
I just think this is another step forward in our future plans for the swimming pool area, the precinct, and I think it ticks all the boxes as well for future land development, kicking off our area of land which we want to subdivide and move forward with livability and houses in the area. But it also saves us a lot of money down the track for the redevelopment, so I think it's a great step forward.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. We can get the councillor back, please. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
take the sign then. Wouldn't be the first time we've forgotten.
What's that?
The sign.
Sign.
Yeah, Mark picked up on that. He's a smart boy, isn't he?
C7, resident co-contribution proposal, Schefe Road, Roma. Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that Council 1 allocate an additional budget of $12,800 to gravel resheet Schefe Road, Roma, under a co-contribution arrangement where the resident has agreed to supply gravel material to site. 2, note that this commitment considers the current offer of material supplied by the resident and does not extend to continuing to resheet the road to a gravel standard into the future.
We have a seconder? I'll second that for Councillor Edwards. Now, does anyone wish to speak to it?
Oh, Mr Mayor, I just think we've been in the wind for a little while. We approved some months ago to add this section of road to the road register, so I think it'll be a good outcome for everyone.
Councillor Edwards?
No, I'd just like to say it's a great outcome, and just little things like that certainly provide a better asset and also keep the community very happy.
Yeah, I'll speak. A partnership like this where the resident is supplying contribution of the gravel, I think is a great solution. Sometimes things don't really fit what we have to do, but when we can look outside the box, then the resident can get the road that they wish. And I'm very glad that council is flexible enough to look at it all different ways and with a co-contribution make it happen. So very supportive of this solution. Does anyone else wish to speak? Does the move wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, so C8. Flood damage, Event 13 program update. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
I move that council receive and note the flood damage event 13 program update as presented.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Taylor. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C9. Page 85. C9, sale of land for overdue rates. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council A, pursuant to section 140 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, sell the land described below for overdue rates and charges. Assessment 11000551, 11002169, 1402297, 140 14507677, 14003321, 12001913, 12006847, 150149996, 11009743, 140281887, 12014320, 11001567, 12005583, 15002546, 14013734, 11002482, 14009856, 12006672, 11002623, 12005708, 15010150, 12004669, 13011010. B, delegate to the Chief Executive Officer its power to take all further steps under section 1413 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to effect sale of land, including for avoidance of doubt the power to end sale of land procedures. And 3, authorise the Mayor and CEO or delegate to approach residents where appropriate to confirm Council's decision.
Okay, I'll second that. Is there any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak. This is always going to be a difficult decision of Council, but it doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. We have rates and arrears that are considerable, and Council has exhausted all possible avenues to ensure that as citizens of our council area, the people are fulfilling their obligation, as the majority do within the Maranoa, and that's to pay their rates. I hope that before we get to the point where these properties are going to sale at auction, that these rates in arrears are paid, and we don't have to pursue this as a council. But nonetheless, we have exhausted all options, and this is the right course of action. I'm pleased to have been able to add, largely because the Mayor has asked for it, that we authorise the Mayor and CEO or her delegate to approach residents where appropriate to confirm Council's decision. That does not take away the severity of the decision that we're making. In fact, it's the last course of action possible that these residents will be hearing from the Mayor. But I included the CEO in this particular part of the resolution, or her delegate, because I think it's vitally important for the standing of council and for the Mayor to have a second person there for support, and that we are looking after the people that are acting on council's behalf. And so I urge councillors to vote in favour of this resolution.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Then we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, the late is here. Thank you. LC1, Lake Neverfill Assessment. I'd like to move the council authorise the engagement of GHD Pty Ltd to undertake an on-site inspection as soon as possible and prepare for a maintenance strategy for Lake Neverfill, located on lot 332 on WV 1668. We have Councillor Edwards is first. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? Then we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Any further business, councillors? Okay, we'll close the meeting at 4:55 PM and thank you for your attendance.